Beyond Saltmarsh is a game played by adults and recorded for an adult audience. Sometimes we use adult language and explore adult topics. Consider yourself warned. Hello, friends! Welcome back to Beyond Saltmarsh. I'm Dave, your humble dungeon master here at the Superior Adventures Guild, and I am the luckiest man that I know because guess what? I get to play some Dungeons and Dragons with a group of my buddies, my good buddies, and here they are. Let's introduce you to them. Hey, fellas.
Yo.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hello.
Hey, my name is Andy. I'm playing Rhunar Deg, an 8th level human dual sword wielding and sometimes other wielding Battlemaster fighter, and current captain of the Good Buddy. And
Mostly other wielding.
Yeah,
well,
he
last
wields.
time, yeah. I try to wield whatever I can. Yeah, I'm excited to get back into this battle.
Yes, sir.
Hello,
Hi,
I am Byron Hearn. No, I'm Kirk. I'm playing Byron Hearn, the rogue in the party, who has no idea that Tenoch is down right now. So he's just happy that he has an ape friend again. Though his baboon died, and he's pretty bummed about that. But he doesn't have a beard anymore, so it's like not a huge deal, but it's complicated.
Are baboons also apes?
No.
I
Are
think
they
they're like
monkeys?
chimpanzee family.
Yes.
We'll look that up later.
Baboons are apes. Baboons are considered apes.
Oh,
There
really?
you go.
Nice.
Yes.
There you go.
Well, biscuits, man.
For a while, you had an ape gang.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had
And
a baboon,
I think there
I had
was-
an ape, and a black bear.
There was
And
also
the
an
black bear.
ape high five at one point, I believe.
Yep.
There was,
Definitely gave
yeah.
my ape a high five.
I think I'm next. Hello, it's me, Chad. I am playing Tenoch, also called Knucklebones, also called Unconscious. Yeah, he's a Ghostwise halfling from the jungles, who is a divination wizard of Mother Tiger. He's a great dude. He very effectively used catapult to annihilate a dude who didn't die. So it wasn't a complete annihilation. It was only like probably a third or a half, maybe a half annihilation. Yeah, but that was epic. And then I went unconscious because I'm just a wizard.
I guess that leaves me. Hi, I'm Michael. I'm playing Theo, the Hexblade Warlock who, he's doing all right. He's worried about everybody else. He's his own thing. We'll figure that out. I'm just excited to get back to this because I really enjoyed the escalation from last session, going from Sturges, which we had no idea what they were in character, out of character. I was like, this is going to be great. And then gnolls. Who doesn't love gnolls? And then, well, you'll find out exactly how off the rails things have gone.
There is a bit of a food chain here in the Gloomhaven Glades we're discovering. And where our heroes fit into that food chain, we will find out. But before we get there, I know we're all anxious to jump back in. We do have a few announcements. Chad, why don't you start us off, sir?
Tomorrow, as perhaps you are becoming accustomed to, we are playing our Midwinter Keening game that I am the dungeon master thereof, set in the campaign setting called Svealand by our official sponsors for that game, Dream Realm Storytellers. It's in kind of a similar way to this progression of escalation. That has been the same thing. It was like, oh, we're tracking down bandits. Oh, wait, there's like a bunch of Draugr coming out of the bog. That's not fun. And it was a whole thing. But it's fun. We've got a PDF giveaway of the campaign setting core book, donated by our generous sponsors. And it's going to be fun. Join us right here, this channel, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow, Thursday.
Awesome.
It's going to be fun. I'm excited.
If there's one thing that we do well here at the Superior Adventures Guild, it's escalate things. We like to escalate. And I'm going to escalate us into the next announcement here. Look at this. I got something to read. Guess what, guys? We have a sponsor for this amazing stream, and it's an amazing sponsor. And we want to say thanks to CZRPG for being our official Beyond Saltmarsh sponsor. They create and publish a variety of awesome content for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, including settings, adventures, map packs, player options, and all kinds of cool bespoke cartographic services as well. They're all about helping DMs save time and look good. So if you need adventure, supplement encounters, map packs, check them out at czrpg.com. And actually we have, if Chad and Michael will point down towards that URL that I'm sure you guys can all see there, that will take you to their catalog on the DMs Guild, or is it? Yeah, DMs Guild. Actually, DriveThruRPG. I can't remember. It's one of the two. Just go there. Check it out. Guess what? Yeah. And guess what? We're also giving away some of their awesome content. This week, we will be running a giveaway at the end of the stream for the Desert of Valor, which is a adventure for characters between 1st and 4th level. It has some hex crawling rules built in. There is a multi-level pyramid dungeon. Hello. I mean, that right there is worth everything. New creatures, magic items, tons of maps. Check it out. We're going to give it away. All you have to do to enter is to type in the word CZRPG. Here, I'll show you how it's done. CZRPG. Boom. That's all you do, and you'd be entered to win the... Actually, let me just do this. Sometimes Dave forgets to do a few things, and then he does them while you're streaming live. That's what happens.
That's okay.
Hero.
As you do.
Here we go. Okay, now you can enter to win. Guess what? I got it set up. We're ready to go. I love it. Yes, so CZRPG to enter to win. You usually throw this, but then I always need it, so I'm going to set it over here instead of throwing it across the room. All right, guys. I think we're about ready to jump in. Let's do a quick recap from last week's episode, why don't we? In our last episode, the Deg Gang was visited by a strange toad-like behemoth named Malacht, a follower of the Old Faith who sought company by their fire. After some polite conversation, this toad man mentioned the great Druid Adama Elusi would be potentially able to help them find this missing monster that they were chasing after. But in order to find the Circle of Elusi, the party would have to seek counsel with the ladies of the Elder Grove, and it was advised that they do so with caution. So there was some discussion about whether or not to pursue that thread. The next morning, the party got back on the river with their guide, Danvirius Zankro, made their way towards a distant village spotted by Tenoch's black-collared hawk with no name, and it felt good to be out of the rain. After almost a day of paddling, the party arrived at the village, which appeared to be uninhabited. In their approach, however, they detected bodies strewn about a small riverside clearing, and atop the bodies, as Michael alluded to, were large mosquito-like creatures that we know and love, sturges. Byron decided to call out to the creatures, and I guess in an attempt to figure out what they were and if they could identify themselves. Panicked, threw a couple of fuzzy balls, as he does, onto the beach. A baboon, a black bear appeared. There was a fight. Rhunar jumped from the boat, landed on the shoreline, ready to go. Of course, the boat rocked back and forth. Danvirius was thrown into the water. It was a whole thing. Finally, they got the boat docked. An additional fuzzy ball was thrown. An ape came out. The fuzzy balls are getting a lot of activity for sure. And as they started to kill off the sturges, an arrow from out of nowhere flew in and hit Rhunar in the chest. As a new threat emerged from the jungle, a party of gnolls. Howling, they continued their surprise attack. More gnolls appearing out of the jungle. Tenoch climbed up on a roof of a nearby hut, and he was kind of calling out plays to his friends as these gnolls kind of swarmed this clearing. Byron's menagerie of animals advancing to draw the gnolls' attention, which was highly effective. And about that time, in a larger, even more evil-looking gnoll appeared swinging this flail that had 3 skulls on the ends that had these glowing red eyes and adorned in spikes, letting out a guttural roar, and he moved forward. Tenoch, as Chad mentioned, cast Catapult and threw a tree stump, basically breaking the gnoll's leg, but he came up and sort of followed Tenoch into a ravine nearby. Theo was hexing and slashing. Byron was aping and bearing and babooning. And Rhunar was flinging arrows. It was the whole thing. This evil flail wielding gnoll approached Tenoch, and Rhunar kind of saw what was happening and started to make his way towards that location, firing his bow a couple times but missing. Tenoch, sort of in a last-ditch effort as this gnoll was kind of towering over him, cast Spirit Shroud and then tried to punch him. Didn't really do anything. Rhunar took 2 massive arrow strikes as he was kind of advancing. Tenoch was cornered, and another gnoll sort of came in, and he was kind of pinned down and was hit with a flail of madness, which knocked him unconscious. And then this Flind, this gnoll, turned towards Rhunar and began to walk towards him. And just then, everybody heard this massive screeching noise from above as this enormous raptor flew onto the battlefield. And that is where we ended things, gentlemen. We are in battle. Let's bring ourselves back to the battlefield here.
Back to life. Back
Yeah,
to
this is gonna rock.
reality.
Whoa, what am I doing way over there? Okay.
All right. So here we go. Let's do this. We got that. We got this. And there we are. Yay. All right. So we are at the top of... Well, we're not quite at the top, I would say. Let's see. Where is the... There we go. Not quite at the top of the order, but basically what just happened was the Flind, that gnoll is walking towards Rhunar, kind of grinning and yapping its maw, and this rock flies in. You can see the rock down in the bottom right corner. What I wanted to do before we move on, so it's the rock's turn. The turn was flying in. It is going to make a perception check. So let me do that. Rock perception check.
It doesn't matter what you see. No, okay, that didn't work.
I would note that there's a kitty tail flailing in front of my camera, which I believe gives me half cover from being seen by a rock.
I think it might give your stealth disadvantage, actually.
Damn
Let's see. Let's get a perception roll. Okay. All right. Let's do this. Who's next in line? Rhunar, you're next in the order. Why don't you roll a d8 for me, please?
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
8.
All right. So, Rhunar, it is now your turn. What would you like to do?
Ooh, that's a good question. Let's see here.
You see this Flind walking towards you, Rhunar, and then you hear the screech and you look back and there's this enormous bird bearing down on you. It looks like it's bearing down right on you. It's coming up behind you, these large talons kind of coming out as it flaps its wings and comes in. You can tell, knowing what you know about birds, apparently Rhunar is a bit of an ornithologist. He was doing a little bit of birding earlier in this adventure. You know that it's coming in for an attack.
All right, so I'm gonna just crouch down, concentrate on my jump, and using my boots of striding and leaping, I think that's what they're called, jump from go like that, 1, 2, 6, land there.
Okay.
And I will use the dash action to do that again and go
boing boing.
But this time, how high is the roof of the hut?
The roof of the hut is approximately 12 feet off the ground.
Okay, so as far as I know, according to my boots, I should be able to jump that high.
Okay.
Do they make the sound?
Yeah, I can jump
Jump.
with the striding
It
and
was-
springing boots. I can jump 18 feet high and 30 feet long. So I will jump again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to the top of the hut.
Okay.
That is it.
All right. That brings us to Danvirius. Danvirius is going to take a step backwards and crouch down here, and he is going to attempt to hide.
That's fair.
He's
I
not
might want
contributing
to. I would
very
want to do that.
15. All right. All right. That is his turn. It's time for the rock. And it's not Dwayne the Rock Johnson we're talking about.
Finally, the Rock has come back to Cyber.
Finally, the rock has come back to the Gloomhaven Glades.
Oh,
So
boy.
that combined with the roll, that D8 roll that you made, which essentially was a way for me to identify which target the rock was going to target first, and with the fact that you moved out of your position that you were in, Rhunar, the rock, it was going to attack you, but now the 8th position is the flind. So that was nicely done. 5, 10.
We call it bait and switch in the business.
Yeah. I forgot I was that close to it last time.
5. Oh, he's got so much movement. Okay. So he is going, the rock, he or she, they, is going to make a talon attack on the flind. A 24 to hit is going to hit. And
I would hope so.
yeah, that's how that works. Doing 29 points of damage.
Ooh, wow.
Oh my god.
So good thing that that's not you, Rhunar. The target is grappled. Oh boy. All right, the target is grappled. I'm gonna allow the Flynn to make a quick attempt to not be grappled. Or actually, no, it's automatic grapple. So he cannot. Yeah, it's an auto grapple.
Wow.
So you guys watch as the Flynn, these giant talons sink into the Flynn's shoulders, and you just hear this wailing from the Flynn, this canid wailing, as the rock now flies away.
How do you
with the
save
Flynn
versus becoming lunch?
I think that there was fortunately or unfortunately, there was no save for this guy.
Right.
So there's
Oh my god.
okay. So that's about 120 feet right there, almost off the map. And the rock gets to make 2 attacks. So while it's carrying him off in its talons, it's going to reach down and kind of pull at his head and see if he can pull his head off with its beak.
Oh god. Does he get advantage?
A 32 is going to hit. A 32 is going to hit, even without advantage.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Go for the natural 20. Just pull that thing clean off.
Not dead, but certainly about to be very, very shortly. That's what you see, Rhunar. You get up on top of this hut and you look back and you just see this rock taking off with the Flind that was going to come and attack you. That brings us to Tenoch. Tenoch, I do believe that we are in death save mode. Ooh. So we have 1 failure. That's the first one, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so,
Okay.
right? Yeah.
All right, cool. So that's your first one. Byron. Back up in the northeast quadrant here.
All right. So just for recap's sake, the last thing I did was high-five my ape after I severed the spine of this gnoll in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to look
Surgically.
over. Yeah, surgically removed the spine.
Well, you are a doctor. Or at least you
Will
play
die
one
at Tryst.
on
At least you play one in cyber.
Indeed. So I'm going to look over at Theo, and I'm just going to kind of follow him. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 kind of pop up next to him. Kind of lean over, whisper, like, what do we do next? At the same time, I'm going to have the ape, whose command last was to attack my enemies. He will probably just make a perception check to see if he can find my enemies.
Happening, Theo will respond, I was going to kill that fucking hyena, man, but what the fuck was that a giant fucking bird? Because he's
that was a
behind the
giant
house.
bird.
He can see things clearly.
Yeah.
A 17 perception for my ape to find my enemies.
Okay, let's see here. Where is the ape? The ape is right there. Yeah, the ape. I would say if the ape moved, maybe from there, I guess you could kind of look underneath, because if you recall, these huts are built up on stilts, and there's somewhere between 3 and 5 feet, depending on the location of the hut, that you can get underneath and see. So he would, with that, be able to see a couple of things. He would be able to see this gnoll right here. However, he would also be able to see Danvarius. Now, I don't know where the two of you are at right now in your little spat that you're having, but I'll let you sort of make that decision.
Does the ape pull Danvarius' head off?
Or you can roll to see which way it goes. But I guess, would you first of all, would
I'm
Byron consider
rolling.
would Byron consider Danvarius a enemy?
Byron is pretty sure Danvarius is an enemy.
Okay.
But he's trying to play the slow con. But if the ape can't differentiate my intentions, I'm going to roll for it.
It is very nuanced, which is usually not something that Byron is.
It's going to attack the gnoll. Yes.
Yeah.
I was hoping for that. I really didn't want you to attack Danvarius.
I
As
didn't
funny as
either.
it would be.
So the ape's going to like bat the ground a couple times, and then it's going to try and just shimmy underneath the hut here. So can it fit under the hut if it sneaks?
Sure, absolutely.
So it's going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. It's making a beeline for this guy. And, you know, if I can, I'll dash with it. Get another 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And now it's ready to just clobber this thing.
Okay.
What kind of ape is it?
I'm picturing like you know those little fuzzy things that you see, like a lemur or a spider monkey or something.
That's a monkey.
Those
not
aren't
an
really
ape.
apes.
Those are two different.
You know, I know
It
nothing
would have
about.
to be.
It'd be like a gorilla.
Chimpanzee,
Yeah, it would have to
gorilla.
be a gorilla,
orangutan.
a chimp, or a baboon, or
Orangutan. Oh, it's like an orangutan.
Right.
I'm picturing.
There you go. Yeah,
Nice.
let's be realistic here. This is D&D, for crying out loud.
It's a purple orangutan.
Shockingly enough, I'm not a zoologist or whatever.
What?
The person who studies.
What kind of doctor are you?
A wildiatrist. Come on.
All right, anything else, Byron?
That's it.
All right, Theo.
The player here is going to take a moment to just marinate in the fact that everything that just happened with the rock, no one really saw but Rhunar. Like, that happened, but we're all out of line of sight. So we're just like, wait, what happened?
That's true.
That's magical. We may or may not believe him in a second. For actual actions, Theo is going to use his bonus action to, conjure the Circle of Hex, point his blade at this now ape-assaulted gnoll, and hex him. He's going to move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Kind of get up against this building, and he would like to beat on this gnoll like perhaps it owed him money.
Okay.
Where's my money, Brian? Where's my money?
And while you're doing that, I just want to say this. It looks like Kyle, thanks for the advantage to me. And Kirk,
we forgot about advantage telling people.
Kirk Ski Bob gave Tenoch advantage. So you can use that for your death save.
Sweet. Hey, that reminds me, everyone who's watching out there, you can 100 bits, and you can be like, I want to give advantage to one of us or Dave.
So Dave has one,
So-
I have one, and Chad has
Yep.
one.
I put it in my notebook.
All right, sorry, Michael. Tell me what just happened. What do we got here?
Two great cleaving swings with the packed greatsword. Both of them hit AC 21.
Yes,
The
sir.
first one was for 19 points total. The second was for 15 points total.
You cut him down as you cleave through this guy, and he drops to the ground. The ape just kind of beats its chest as you look at him.
That's
Yeah!
exceptional.
All right.
Give it a
Anything
high
else, sir?
five.
Having been yelled at him, Theo is going to just awkwardly try and high five the ape.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Are there any gnolls aside from the one that is on top of Tenoch?
There's
one-
one over here.
Yeah, to the north of that one.
Okay. Oh, wait. Where at?
The one that we're all pinging.
That's a lot of pings.
It
That
is.
guy's dead. Oh,
is he
you know
dead?
what? Let me see here.
I don't think he's dead because nobody.
No, he's
attacked
not.
him.
He was underneath. He was underneath the dead guy. I'm just gonna move him a sec right
Oh.
there. All right. Let's see here. So we've got two left. This one here saw Rhunar jump up on the hut, so he is going to take a couple shots with his longbow at Rhunar. First one. A 20 to hit for 3 piercing damage.
Yeah, that hits.
And
so
remember
much
that your speed is reduced by 10 feet until the end of your next turn.
Okay.
So if on your next turn you only have 20 feet of movement.
Next turn it'll be more of a nah.
Right. One less nah.
Yeah,
Second
less
shot, 23 to hit for 8 piercing
Jesus.
damage.
All right.
And then he is going to run. He's running away. This one that is over Tenoch is going to bite Tenoch.
Oh no!
Oh.
Hello?
Hello?
Waiting for your roll.
Yeah, what's up? It's not rolling.
It's the suspense feature
It's that suspense feature.
in roll 20.
Built
What
in.
the heck? Bite.
The button 20 times to see what happens.
And the gnoll bites 20 times.
8.
No.
Somehow he misses you. even with advantage. He bites into your amulet or something. I don't know how you'd explain that. And then he's gonna run.
He just gets a mouthful of dreadlocks. He tries to bite my head, but it's all dreadlock.
I guess so. All right. Of course, now it wants to roll a bunch. Okay, there we go. He's gonna run. Rhunar, you watch as these two gnolls are making a beeline for the jungle.
Okay, I'm going to. Oh, is it my turn? Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna.
And your speed is reduced by 10. Remember.
I'm just gonna hop down to here, and grab a healing potion and shove it in Tenoch's mouth. So that's one of my minor healing potions.
Okay.
So it's 2d4 plus 4, right?
Yes, 2d4 plus 2.
Plus 2. Okay. Okay. Hey, 5 hit points.
You are back
Sweet.
into consciousness world, Tenoch.
Um,
All right. You still have some movement minus the 10 feet that you lost.
Is that count as my bonus action? Feeding him a potion? Or is that a full action?
It would have been your free action to pull it out and your action to pour it down his mouth.
Okay, I would say for the rest of my movement, I'm gonna back up down here towards him and kind of crouch down in this lower area.
Okay.
To try to, hide myself from any incoming arrows from this guy.
Yeah, you find yourself like in a small ravine along the edge of the riverbank there, and there's a little bit of a topography change, so you can kind of duck down, but it's not much more than like 2 to 3 feet of difference,
Okay.
but it's enough. You definitely have cover.
Okay.
All
That's
right.
it.
All right. Nice. Let's go to Dan Virius. Dan Virius is going to step out. And he is going to survey the scene, and he's going to yell out to Theo and the ape, "Are there more of them? Where are they?" And he's kind of scanning around with his bow.
News is, I think they are running. The bad news is, was that a giant hawk thing?
Yes, it was. And he's going to
Is
get
it kind of
underneath.
pulled back?
He's going to duck down underneath this, use his dash action. I don't know. Best to hide. That brings us to the rock. The rock is going to exit stage left with its food. And that brings us to Tenoch. Tenoch, you gasp for air and come out of this strange sort of boundary world between life and death.
Oh.
Welcome back.
Oh,
Does it hurt?
peppermint. Oh yeah, it hurts a lot. But thank you.
Stay low. Stay low.
I'll stand up and just be low.
Your low is my kneeling height.
Right? Yeah. Right.
Halfling humor. I love it.
And are there any left?
There's a couple running away, and some giant bird swooped in and grabbed the leader.
Is this one still just standing here?
They're both running away from you.
But it's there.
Yeah.
Yep. It's still
Oh,
there.
okay.
This is kind of all, you know how rounds work. It's like everything's kind of happening at the same time.
Yeah.
But you come to consciousness, have a couple words with Rhunar, and then look over and you see at least this
That
one
guy.
running, and maybe this other one too, potentially. Over
Cool.
here.
I'm pissed off now. So he's gonna get a level 3 magic missile.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna be 5. Wait, 3 plus
You
1.
get one up for every level above 1.
First. Oh yeah, so 5. So 5d4 plus 1 each, plus 5.
Wow.
18 damage, please.
Wow. These 5 missiles just erupt from the palm of Tenoch's hand. Hitting this gnoll as he's running, hits him in the back and kind of staggers forward. He's still running, but he looks almost like a drunken sort of vibe that he's giving off as he's kind of pedaling forward with his arms, drops his bow. Is that it for you, Tenoch?
I'll use part of my movement to step up here. Continually brazen. Yeah, that's what
All
I'm
right.
gonna do.
Byron.
All right, seeing the ape and Danvarius so close together, and realizing his feelings about Danvarius, is gonna have a is going to sprint forward 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 as a dash movement. Kind of to get between Danvarius and the ape, because he doesn't want to give up that he thinks Danvarius is a bad guy yet.
Okay.
And at this point, can he see this guy?
Roll a perception check.
I should have advantage on
Yes, you can see him.
that. Okay, sweet. Seeing him, I'm going to look at the ape and I'm going to be like, sick him, boy. And the ape is going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50 as a dash action and attempt to intercept.
Okay.
But that's all I got.
All right. Theo.
Theo is going to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and also scoot kind of under the along the large building as well and go, what the hell? What the hell? And that's his turn. He takes the dodge action technically, in case
Okay.
the rock comes.
In case it
The
comes
rock
back.
cometh. Cometh backeth. All right. The gnoll next to the ape is running sort of almost like can't tell where it's going. And then it sees an ape and it's even worse. And it is going to, with a last ditch effort, try to bite the ape.
I love it.
Just trying to stay alive. 13 to hit the ape. I think that hits
That hits.
for 5 piercing damage.
He survives.
And then it's going to use its movement. So you can get an attack of opportunity if you would like from the ape.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Nice. Come
Mhm.
on, ape. Come on, ape.
Red ape is unstoppable.
It's a fist attack.
Holy.
Without the extra damage.
Is it
21
plus
to hit
5?
for
It's
9
plus 5 to
bludgeoning.
hit, huh?
Yeah, plus 5 to hit.
Holy cow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just punches right into the side of the head. Kind of like, what was it? Was it Thor that got punched by the Hulk in that, which Avengers was it? He just,
The first one.
yep, punches
Yeah,
him, and instead of just flying across the screen and out of frame, the gnoll head is crushed and it drops to the ground. It takes like 2 more steps and then just falls to the ground.
Awesome.
The gnoll that's on the edge of the clearing is going to turn around and take a shot with the bow at the ape.
No.
Uh, 20 to hit for 5 piercing.
That kills it.
Yep, and then
No,
the,
I feel like, Byron, you need to take the feat that lets you get a fighting style so you can take protection. So you can, like, get in front of the attacks against your ape.
My ape! No!
well, you can get him again tomorrow. All
I
right.
think that ape killed.
Maybe.
That the last gnoll makes it to the tree line and disappears into the brush. You chase after it. Rhunar, it's your turn.
I'm gonna just race up. Can I see it?
Roll a perception check. It's gonna be pretty tough from that angle. No, you do not.
11.
You do not see it.
All right.
You kind of see where it went, like you watched it as it disappeared, but you don't currently see it anymore.
All right. I'm just gonna make a note of like its general direction and just hold my fire, and just kind of duck under the house overhang a little
Okay.
bit.
All right. So we'll just finish up this round here. Danvirius looks over at you, Theo, and says, I've never seen anything like it. Crikey, that was huge. And he will take the dodge action as well. All right, that brings us to Rhunar. Roll a d8 for me. All right, a 5. Okay. All of a sudden you see in the distance, you're watching towards the where the gnoll disappeared into the brush, and then all of a sudden you look up and your eyes get wide as you see the rock, which seems to have come around again, and it still has the flint in its grasp, but is now coming in for another run at the clearing here.
It's making a strafing attack.
Yep, 5, 10, 15.
Somebody man the artillery.
All right, it comes in low, and Tenoch and Rhunar, you can watch as it comes in. It's dragging the flint, and it comes past you, and it looks down, and it surveys. I'm going to roll a perception check as it flies overhead. A 6, not very good. It seems to be preoccupied with its food. And it flies just low enough where the flint's feet drag across the thatched roof hut, and then it takes off again and flies off and disappears to the east. And with that, we are out of initiative order.
That one giant cock. Holy shit.
That was awesome.
I'm going to just move to this side. Dave, when I saw the rock...
Where did that big bird come from?
The sky.
Wait, what big bird?
That's the bird I saw in the distance back on the river, I think. It didn't look that big, though.
Wait, is that what I just heard fly over us?
Thing was enormous.
You guys would have all heard the screech as it came in that first time. That would have been something very different from what you'd heard throughout the battle. But yeah, I think Rhunar is the only one that saw it. Tenoch, you saw it when it came back around, of course, and did the second flyby.
Yeah, I don't think Byron saw it.
Did the when I was up on the roof seeing the flint get attacked by the giant rock, did I notice if the flint dropped his weapons?
You didn't notice if he dropped it, but you would have seen them laying on the ground based on where he got taken, because it was like right in front of you. So you assume that he still had it in his hand, but when the rock came by in the second pass, you couldn't see. It was too quick.
Okay.
Well,
we should gather together and find some cover in case that.
Why, Abe?
We are undercover. You should come get undercover here with us.
I'm gonna crawl under the hut for a little bit.
Byron's gonna sprint over to his ape and see if the ape's okay, and find out it's dead.
I'm gonna go into this hut.
Okay. You climb up the ladder and get into the hut. You walk inside, Tenoch, and you see a very sort of Spartan living conditions, but clean and tidy inside. It does look like there are some supplies on the decking in front of the hut. Some baskets with fish, some fruit in an additional basket, and what appear to be a couple of crates. Looks like supplies of some sort. They seem to be in order. They don't seem to be disturbed at all, but you don't see anybody inside this hut.
I'll kind of take all that in. I'll come back out. Hey, there's a bunch of food here. Is there a bed there? I might take a nap.
Yes, there are some pallets inside. with some blankets, and they look relatively comfortable. They're not
Yeah.
beds per se, but they are sleeping pads. You're gonna take a rest.
You're just gonna yell over. Maybe we worry about that once we know the giant bird is not coming back.
Is there like a stove in here?
There is not a stove.
Can I attempt to medicine check
Okay.
with my ape?
I'm gonna eat a fruit
Okay.
and just kind of sit
You-
down and like bleed.
You just kind of sit down.
Yeah.
Theo
Fruit
just-
is very ripe and very tasty. A lot of sugar content, and it's very juicy. Just kind of runs down your face. Byron, you wanted to do what?
I want to do a medicine check on my ape.
Okay, go ahead and what are you trying to check?
I'm just gonna try and like see if I can revive it.
Okay.
He's gonna tap into his inner Dr. McKillingutty and try and revive this ape.
You gotta check out his feet.
Yeah, he's definitely
15?
dead.
Okay.
You kind of bend over like as if you're gonna give it mouth to mouth, and then you're like, nah, it's not gonna work,
Oh,
and you
God.
back off.
Damn it.
Cool.
But it's the thought that counts, right?
Yeah. He's gonna be pretty bummed. He's gonna slump his way back towards everyone else.
At this point has just kind of sighed and is creeping his way under the building to the other side, and then kind of just does a quick like kind of hop sprint across the intervening 10 feet, circles around the building, comes up on, and then gets up next to Tenoch against the wall, and so you're not worried.
I'll toss him a fruit.
He's gonna awkwardly catch it in one hand with sword in the other. Just be like, "You're not worried about the giant bird coming back?
No.
Why are you not worried about the giant bird coming back?"
What am I gonna do against a giant bird?
Murder it?
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
Okay, well, hold on. Here, hold the fruit,
I'll eat that fruit too.
and then
Rhunar,
Theo kind of
and go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Theo
Theo.
kind of hoists up the sword and goes, "So I can help with your wounds, but have you ever been in a sword swallowing act?"
No.
Good, because that's not involved here at all. And Theo just kind of moves his hand along the blade, and a couple of like segments of runic language and tiny, tiny script light up, and then he just kind of gently boops Tenoch on the head with that, and there's like a static discharge of arcane energy, and he will regain X number of hit points thanks to Cure Wounds, which is, let me roll it.
Cure wounds. What?
That's not very necromancer.
Whoa.
Nice.
Back 25 hit
Nice.
points.
How many?
How much?
Damn!
25.
Yeah. 25.
All right.
So while that's
Thanks.
happening, Rhunar and Byron, you are underneath the hut, and Danvirius is right there, and he turns to both of you and just goes like this. And points up. Above you is the floor to the hut.
Oh.
I was about to suggest going into that hut. Is there a ladder or a way into it from here?
From where you are, no. It's kind of by where the corpse of the black bear is at the front of the hut.
Oh, okay.
This hut is a little bit differently shaped than the others. It's kind of rounded on one side, but it does have a similar sort of decking with a ladder that goes up, but it's a little bit farther away. It's kind of on the north side, and you're kind of on the southeast side of the hut.
All right, I'm gonna stash my bow and move around to the entrance, so near the hut, not like standing right in the doorway, but like kind of right up next to the entrance of the hut.
So you're gonna climb up the stairs or the ladder, excuse me, to get up
Yeah,
to the
kind
platform.
of real slowly and just kind of like try to peek.
Would you say stealthily?
Yes.
Roll a stealth check.
Okay.
And Byron, roll a perception check.
Ooh, 10.
Okay.
$17.
Byron, first we'll go to you. You can hear just sort of the flexing and the creaking of the sort of like bamboo style flooring, the decking that makes up the floor of this hut, as if someone is creeping across the hut. And Rhunar, as you kind of climb up the ladder and set your foot down, it just kind of it flexes underneath your foot. You kind of look around, and as you peer inside, there's no door to this thing. It's an open doorway. And you look inside, and all of a sudden you see this woman step out, and she's got a club in her hand, and she's holding it with two hands. And she says, "Do you come to do us harm?" She looks
No.
really intense.
We're here to help. We just fought off these gnolls and these, I don't know what they were, devil mosquitoes.
Devil mosquitoes.
They killed many of our people. She kind of looks outside, and she sees the bodies. Oh my God.
We may have arrived a little too late. We heard commotion and we came.
Are there more? More of those
I-
creatures?
I think they're all gone for now.
And the gnolls? Have they come back then?
We fought them off. They ran away. Their leader was taken by a giant bird.
Roll a persuasion check.
I just have my hand up like this, like I'm holding onto the ladder, just like persuasion.
You're
Mhm.
standing on the ladder. Your other hand is hiding a halberd. It's Rhunar. Come on.
Is it a halberd, or is it a scimitar, or is
I
it
got
a ball,
two
or
or
is it
three
a
other
mace,
weapons.
or is it a sword, or is it a dagger, is it a spear, is it a...
11.
She looks at you as if she doesn't really believe you at first, but then she looks out and she kind of drops she has that club like ready, almost like a baseball bat. She just kind of drops it down at her side, and she says, "We have many to bury." And then she looks back and she says to someone that you don't see, Rhunar, "It appears as though they're gone. Come." And you watch as two young children and an old man kind of come into view as you look inside the hut, and the little kids are kind of hiding behind her legs. And now that you've had a chance to sort of calm the situation down, you look at her, and she is wearing, I guess, what would be described as like a homemade garments, likely made from the skins of animals. She has jewelry on that look to be teeth of animals, perhaps ceramic beads. She has long dark hair, deep creases in her face, although strangely she doesn't give off this sort of vibe of being old. She has this youthful sort of energy to her, but definitely sort of like weathered, and she just looks tough is a good way to put it. Her arms are she has like sleeveless sort of gown on, and her arms are just ripped. She looks super tough. And the kids are probably about 7 to 8, and they are again hiding behind her legs a little bit as she kind of steps out onto the front decking in front of the hut, and she says, "How many are there with you?"
I'm just going to step back down the ladder, kind of back up, let her see that I'm not armed. And I'm just going to tell her that there's 5 of us. We can help you look for survivors.
Yes.
We should
must
search
check
these other huts.
We must check the huts. Yes, indeed. And she looks back at the kids and kind of holds them back, says, "You stay here. It's okay." And the old man, you see, he looks a little confused, and he kind of grins at you. He has no teeth in his mouth, and he puts his hand on the boy's shoulder and just kind of stands there as if, kind of ready to do whatever he can to protect them. She comes down and climbs down the ladder now and is standing in front of the hut.
You
Go
wear
ahead, Tenoch.
shoes?
She does not have shoes on.
Just trying to figure out how much of a hippie commune in the jungle this is.
It's very hippie.
Very heavy, yeah.
Yeah.
Do we, from our vantage point, like, do we hear any of this? Do we see any of this exchange?
Well, what's your passive perception? Because would you be actively trying to
Ooh.
listen for that kind of thing at this point, do you think?
I guess probably part of this happens maybe simultaneously from when Theo healed me.
Yeah.
So we probably wouldn't have heard all of it. So my passive perception would
I have
be
10. I have 10 written down. Is that
yeah.
right?
Yep.
So you don't hear much up until the
Okay.
point where she steps down onto the ground, and you can look over now, and because you see activity over there, you see Rhunar, a strange woman that you don't know who she is, standing there, and Dan Virius has also stepped out from underneath and is standing kind of next to Rhunar. He's put away his weapons and is just sort of standing, saying nothing, but a little bit of a smile on his face, trying to be as friendly as possible.
I think the captain has found friends.
Yes. Good to see there's somebody still alive here after all.
I mean, the giant mosquito. Do you have any idea what the giant mosquito monsters were, by the way?
Would that be something I would be familiar with from where I come from, Dave?
Roll a nature check.
How about a 21?
Yes, you are familiar with them. I'm not sure what they would call them in where you're from in Indakara,
Yeah.
but
We
you
call
do
them
know them.
something, and I'll say their name in my language. I think that some of the men I've been on the ships I've been with, they call them sturges.
Well, the Sturges should not have been able to kill everyone, hopefully. I mean, they weren't that big. I don't. We should go talk to
Oh,
people.
yeah.
And Theo and Tenoch just wander over casual like.
Yep.
Okay, so she looks over at you as you walk in. You can see her grip tighten a little bit on the club that she's holding, and then she turns back to Rhunar. Friends of yours, I hope.
Yes,
Hello.
these men are with me.
Theo just waves really friendly.
I'm just going to motion to the four of them.
First things first. We can do introductions later. I must check to see if there are any more survivors here.
Sure, let
It's
us.
been a
agree.
terrible day for our village. And she kind of walks past you, Rhunar, towards the hut across from the one that she came out of. And she climbs up the ladder and goes in and looks around. And she comes out and she shakes her head.
I'll
I'm just
go
gonna
into this one.
Yeah, motion to the guys to go check the other huts. I'll check this
Yeah,
one on the far
I'll
right.
head to the far left.
Okay. So you guys take a little bit of time to search the huts. And you do find 3 additional survivors.
Nice.
A young couple. They appear to be together. A young man, young woman. And then in a additional hut off to the west side, there is an old woman. And so you're able to gather people together. The woman who you met with the club kind of brings them to the central hut, and they're all sort of sitting in front of it. And she starts to walk around to inspect the dead. And I don't know if you follow her or you're near her when she does it, but she kneels down at each one of the villagers that have been slain, and she puts her hand on their chest. And they're in rough shape. They are torn up. They have been eviscerated. Limbs have been pulled off and are laying nearby. It's pretty grisly. And to Theo's point, the attack of a sturge, given its size and what you do or do not know about it, seems like unlikely source of mortality for these individuals. But nevertheless, she kneels down at each one, putting her hand on whatever body part she can, chest or head or shoulder, and she says some words under her breath. And she does that for each one of them. It takes a while, but she does that.
I'll start pulling these gnoll corpses out somewhere. Oh, like out of town, maybe. Find a. I don't know.
Maybe we should
I
burn them.
definitely want to get them out of town. Yeah.
Should we
Don't
try
want to
to?
leave a bunch of corpses. They could just. Oh, they draw alligators.
Right.
We don't want to turn this into the Congo.
We should bury them or burn them.
Yeah.
Byron
Will
will
be-
just start digging.
Thea will be Tenoch's buddy in getting the bodies moved.
I'm gonna start piling up the sturges over here to set them on fire, like throwing them in that fire pit so I can like burn them.
Okay. The
Help.
woman comes over to you, Rhunar, as you're bringing the first one over to kind of throw it down in the fire pit. And she says, "Not here. This is where we cook our food. We can burn these creatures." And she leads you over to a different location that's just off of the village, and she indicates this is the place.
Makes
And
sense.
so you're able to clean up the clearing. It takes much of the afternoon, Tenoch and others, to pull the gnolls. You do find, weathered and sort of jerry-rigged bows. Each of the gnolls had a blade of some kind. There's plenty of things that you can scavenge from them. They don't have any coin on them. You don't find anything of particular value. However, if someone wants to roll a D20 for me.
16.
All right. You find on one of them, strangely enough, a small jar in a satchel that's slung around his shoulder, the gnoll's shoulder. There's a small satchel that has dirty rags in it. It has some food bits that look absolutely disgusting, rotten flesh and that sort of thing. But there is a jar, a small jar with some sort of a claw that appears to be preserved in some kind of an alcohol.
Who finds
Other than
it?
that, it's that would be Tenoch.
Oh, sweet.
Yep.
Dave, I'd like to just collect as many arrows as I can find to add to my supply.
Yeah.
How many would you say I could find? I guess.
Roll 2d20.
Okay. 23.
So you find 33 arrows.
Nice.
And a lot of them they're definitely not made by a master Fletcher or a master carpenter or anything like that. They are in fairly rough shape, but they look like they're usable arrows.
Okay.
Can I tell at all what kind of claw this is? Or what it would have come from?
roll a nature check.
13.
It's avian, and it appears to be it has it's a long talon-like claw, so some sort of a raptor. You're very familiar with raptors. You have a familiar that's a black-collared hawk, so you definitely see it as some
Cool.
sort of a raptor, but it's really hard to tell like what species. It looks as though it's been in this jar for a long time. It's kind of pale. It's lost a lot of its color. Pieces of it are kind of floating in the jar along with the actual structure of the claw. Looks pretty cool.
Cool. Nice. Yeah, I'm going to keep it. I wrote it down. Raptor talon preserved in a jar from the gnolls.
Mm-hmm. Anything else, guys, that you want to do at this point?
So I'm just gonna look in this area where the Flynn was captured. You said he didn't drop anything.
You can roll an investigation check if you want to look for something.
I'll check. Ten.
You don't find like the flail, which you might be looking for specifically. You don't find anything other than a substantial amount of blood at the location where he was standing, likely from the talons that pierced his skin to pull him away. while you're doing that, looking around, sort of looking in the bushes, looking around that ravine area, the woman comes up to you, and this is a little bit later now. It's probably been an hour or two. She comes up and says, "You are the leader, no?
Yes.
You said your name was Rhunar?
Yes, that's me. Your name?
Thank you. Thank you for helping us. I would like to repay you in any possible way that I could, although with what has happened today, our means are much reduced. However, I will cook a meal. You are welcome to stay here this evening. The children have cleaned out one of the huts for you to use.
Yeah, shelter and some food would be amazing.
Yes, very well. The food is being prepared. Please tell your friends to join us around the fire. And she walks away and goes back to the fire pit where there's a big kettle boiling over the flames, and she's getting she and the others are getting the food ready. And you look over and you see the old man, with the toothless old man, sitting on a log next to the fire with his finger up his nose, just going for it, digging for buried treasure.
You do.
And then stirring the pot.
Which hut did they set up for us?
Roll a d20, Tenoch.
And
Oh, yeah, he doesn't need it. All right, what was that, Rhunar?
I was just curious which hut they set up for us.
It's one off to the west side of the village. It's away from the main
okay.
hut that you found her in. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So you go over and check it out, and it looks like there'll be enough space for all of you. They've set up little like pads for you to lay down and rest on, some blankets and that sort of thing. Looks pretty cozy. Very Spartan accommodations, though.
What time of day is it now? Is it getting late?
It's evening. It's, the sun is starting to dip. You can hear the distant rumble of thunder as you're sort of used to closer to the coast, where it gets sacked with monsoon rainstorms in the afternoons. You look up above you, though, and it seems rather clear. There's some wispy white clouds. It doesn't look ominous.
I might send out my hawk just to do some scouting, just to kind of make sure there's not like more gnolls coming back or whatever, or something weirder.
Well, and that's a great idea. And it should also be noted that you all know that one of the gnolls got away.
Right.
Yep. And you know the direction that it ran. So yes, make a hawk roll, hawk perception roll.
Hawkception.
Yep. Byron and Theo, is there anything that you guys want to be doing sort of during this general period of time in particular?
Well, if Byron saw an opportunity, he would have started digging graves for the people who died before she started burying them, and before while she was saying all of her words and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then also he would have, he's kind of pissed. He's kind of pissed that they killed his ape and his baboon. So he's kind of walking the perimeter stealthily, looking for more threats that may be trying to sneak up on the camp.
Okay. Roll a perception check as well then for me.
$16.
And,
okay. And Tenoch, what about for the hawk?
14 for the hawk.
Okay. So we'll go with the hawk first. Your black-collared hawk flies up.
I'm sorry, 16.
16? Ooh.
Yeah.
That's going to make a big difference, actually.
Yeah.
So your hawk flies up and soars above the jungle, which is thick. This part of the jungle is super dense. this green sort of blanket, this green sea of vegetation in all directions. There are these pockets of treeless areas, but they are comprised of these dense patches of like this sort of like sawgrass, little intermixed sort of hemi-marsh with open water areas and that sort of thing. And there are other birds flying around, giant flocks of some sort of a small like songbird fly by, and the hawk kind of takes notice and goes that way for a minute, but then gets back on track. And essentially looking for anywhere that the gnoll might have gone. The gnoll is nowhere to be seen. However, you fly as the hawk flies over, and when it gets back to you and kind of communicates this, there are areas where there are sort of these raised like little islands almost in the marshland that are relatively dry. And there is this whole area to the east where the water and the wetness kind of recedes and it starts to go into a highland area. And this sort of like dense tropical jungle vegetation starts to thin a little bit. So they're like rock outcrops and that kind of thing. Byron, as you're searching the perimeter of this clearing, you're walking around and kind of keeping an eye, sort of kicking rocks, and you're kind of ticked off. What was the roll you made?
16 for perception.
Okay. As you come down near the water's edge on the landing that you first approached, not the landing with the dock, but the dry landing to the south and east or west, excuse me. You look down and it catches your attention right away. There is a monstrous scrape in the mud. 4 large claw marks that just scrape through the mud, and they're probably 6 to 8 inches apart from each other, but you've seen them before. You've seen them at the bank of the river where Tenoch was attacked.
I'm gonna go running back. I'm gonna find Rhunar or Tenoch or Theo, whoever I see first. I'm gonna run up to him. So I don't know who that's going to be.
Theo, he's the one still in the village.
Okay, so I'm gonna run up to Theo. Theo, come quick. Come with me.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab his shoulder. I'm gonna just pull him and run back towards the claw marks. Look here.
That
These look very familiar. And actually, when I was talking to the gentleman at the Carpenters Guild, they described this to me.
that alligator mark, or is it something else?
No, it looks like the beast's mark. The beast that tried to take Tanika from the hotel. Kinda. I think.
Then
I don't know. I'm not a zoologist.
damn it, man, you're a doctor, not a zoologist.
Damn it, man.
You went with me, and I appreciate you. Would Theo have any frame of reference for what a crocodile or an alligator would look like versus what this is? Or am I just
think so. With the experience that you've had in the last couple of days, you did fight an alligator, Croc. You did see the tracks of this beast and the claw marks in the side of the building. Excuse me. So yeah, you could roll a nature check if you'd like.
like?
Please do. Yeah.
20.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah. You kind of get down on your knees and you look at it and you sort of like do this, and you're sort of like testing the distance between the claw marks, and then you kind of look up and you're like scratching your beard, and you look back down and you're like, yep, this looks like the creature. This looks like the creature. This ain't no alligator.
This is not an alligator. So Byron, he just kind of claps Byron on the shoulder. You're good. Motherfucker has been here.
We need to set up double watch.
But the question becomes, when, and is it still here? Was it leaving? Did it come?
And that, my friends, is where we're going to go ahead and take a break. With those questions posed, we will come back and we will find out what happened, because we need a bio break. Here we go. We're going to do it. We'll see you in a little bit, guys. We'll be right back in 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Hello, everybody. We're back. Hey, thanks for watching. Everybody who's still with us, we really appreciate you. It's great to see our friends here hanging out with us week after week. It means a lot to us, and it's fun to have you engage with us in the chat. So please do that. If you have questions, I know Kirk is in the chat pretty frequently during the game. One thing that you should definitely not forget is that we are doing a giveaway. We are giving away the
Temple
Desert of Valor. Close.
Desert of Valor.
Desert of Valor. Yep. But there is a pyramid dungeon as part of that. There's hex crawl rules. There are new creatures, magic items, etc. It's really cool. We're going to give that away at the end of the stream. And the only thing that you have to do to enter is to type CZRPG into the chat. And that's it, guys. You're entered to win. It's that easy. We hope that you'll do that. I'm going to pretend to throw that and then set it gently over here because I know that I'm going to need it again shortly. But yeah, please do enter to win. We'd love to see some of our friends here win. Okay, so we are back in the hippie village, in the desert. No, in the jungle. Thank you. I was thinking Desert of Valor. This is the Jungle of Valor. New idea for CZRPG. I got maps for you. All right, here we go. Theo, you have been examining the marks along the banks of the river that Byron pointed out to you. You have determined that they are not crocodile tracks. And indeed, your hypothesis currently is that they are the creature which you seek. You have asked a couple of questions regarding how fresh the tracks are. You have asked, I think, about the direction of travel, perhaps. Roll a survival check as you attempt to interpret the tracks that are in the mud.
Oh no, that's that 5's not gonna get me very far.
A 5, okay. It's hard to say. It's near the water line, so you can. That gives you a little bit of information in terms of the recency of the markings. It appears as though they are walking. There's a stride that is probably 6 to 8 feet long. So as you look around, you see, because you rolled a 20 with your nature check, you see once you've sort of gotten that search image of the track, now you can see another one, but it's 6 to 8 feet away. And then you see another one, again, 6 to 8 feet away. And as you're doing this, you hear a voice over your shoulder. Well, now, those some big beasts, yeah? And you look back, and it's Danverius is kind of standing there with you.
Cat looks over his shoulder and just looks back direct. Yeah, looks like your friend the doctor has a much bigger tail now. Look at that thing.
Tell me, Theo, you think that the doctor is somehow transformed? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, and Theo just kind of keeps following the tracks as he's talking, trying to be nonchalant. Well, that's my best guess. I assume that's why you came out here with us. You were assuming the same thing.
Yes, it's quite possible based on what I've heard. Look, there's another one. And he points down at the mud, and you see an additional track. And he gets down on his he kind of squats down next to it, and he's looking at it. Let's have him roll a survival check. $25.
Wow.
Whoa.
He kind of gets down and looks at it, and he pulls out a little notebook, and he starts to sketch in it. And he's taking some. You can see that he's taking notes. You look down, and you can read it. It's in common, and he's essentially diagramming the stride and the gait, and essentially diagramming the claw marks, the footprints. And he says, "Yeah, this is a big beast, a big one. It's going to be tough to fight this. And what of it? If it's the doctor, then do we kill it? Do we try to save the doctor somehow? What's your plan?"
It's bold of you to assume we have a plan. we are actually looking for the people that might help us be able to get a plan. We think there are a couple of people out here tracking the same beast who might know more, but we don't know who they are or what they're about. So we'll find out. Other than that, no, not a clue yet.
Do you see any other tracks, Theo? Besides this beast that we're hunting?
I mean,
Roll a
it's
perception check.
see beach. There
You
are
wanna
tracks
look.
everywhere.
I'm not
That's
very
very true.
good at this stuff.
I've got a 5. No, there's tracks everywhere.
Yeah, there are bird tracks along the beach, sandpipers, or some other sort of shorebird tracks. There are small mammal tracks walking back and forth. All kinds of critters. Many of them that you don't know what they are. You couldn't identify them, but a lot of activity on the beach, on the shoreline.
The
But Dan
important part is-
Virius, oh, go ahead.
No, after you.
Dan Virius kind of looks over as you say that, Barney, and says, "Yeah, well, my best estimate is that it went off that way," and he points to the east. I don't know if it's heading farther deeper into the island for some reason, or if there's something drawing it, perhaps. I don't know.
You can at least say it is heading inland. We will probably begin to headland, and Theo drops his voice. We should probably ask the nice people hosting us for dinner a bit more about this, about themselves, about what's going on. You know, just a good old time of asking them many questions as politely as possible.
I think that's a good idea. Dan Various, can I look at your journal?
Oh God, he loves journals. Ugh.
Excuse me? Journal? Sure. He kind of he doesn't give it to you, but he shows you. He kind of just holds it open for you to see. You can see the diagram in his
wow.
notes.
Is it pretty intricate?
Yeah, he's a pretty good artist.
Okay. Wow. Dan Various,
Wow.
I'll take out my journal. Mine's in code, so he won't necessarily understand it. But I'll take out my journal, the one that I keep for the Seekers, and I'll just flip open a page and I'll show him some of my diagrams and some of the traps that I've made, some random things.
Yeah, whoa, wait, that page right there. Go back a page. No, one more.
Back. Yep.
Yeah. That. What is that?
This is just a trip trap I made for some zombies, and we were in a zombie. Well, how do I explain this? There was like a crypt in this forest, and I came up with this sweet trip trap. So I wrote it down.
Yeah.
Trip trap.
Because we knew there was some.
He loves that
guys.
trap.
It's and check out this trap, and I'll flip to a couple pages for it. I've never used this one yet. It's kind of like a hole with spikes in the bottom of it.
Yeah.
I think that's called a pit trap.
I've seen that before.
Well, I came up with it totally on my own.
Yeah, bit of a genius, I suppose. And he looks over at Theo and kind of raises his eyebrows.
Theo is just making this face, just the
This is the real truth, I think. I think we finally figured out. Byron isn't actually a member of the Seekers.
He's a charlatan.
He may have caught one in a trap once.
And taken his journal.
Yep.
Well, tomorrow then we set off upriver as far as we can get, I suppose, huh? Following these tracks.
Well, at least now we know for certain what we're looking for.
Yeah. It almost seems as though it's following the river bank, perhaps swimming a bit. Who knows? This thing aquatic. Hard to tell.
I'm certain parts of it are.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think we should keep following this trap. We should go back and get the others. If we're planning on, we cannot engage this. Just the three of us.
No, we're going to track it tomorrow downriver in the boat, Byron.
Yes, yeah, I agree. But we're still following it right now.
I stopped. I fucking stopped.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay.
You guys were 2 miles out of camp.
Shoot! I was like, just a couple more minutes. Roll initiative.
We did your streams.
Dan Various is just gonna hide in the bushes like he did the last combat.
That's okay.
Well,
Theo will just grab Byron and teleport away. So sucks to be Danvarius then.
guys,
Ooh.
guys.
Anyway, yeah. Well, I guess at that point we'll head back into
Yep.
begin the meal and questioning.
Okay.
Yes, I agree.
So the three of you, including Danvarius, return to the clearing. You really didn't go that far, but you get back to the clearing. You can smell the aroma of some sort of a food being cooked over the fire. Tenoch and Rhunar have already sat down, weary from the battle, weary from the work that you engaged in, helping to clear the bodies, bury and or burn them. But essentially trying to help the remaining surviving villagers to sort of get on with the day and their needed survival tasks. So currently food is cooking, and there are about 6 or 7 villagers that are now seated around the fire. Bowls are being passed around. They are carved out of wood, hand carved bowls and hand carved spoons, and a big old ladle that they use to dish up this broth that has, as you look at it, as it's served to each of you, it's got some meat in it. So it's kind of a dark meat and a bunch of vegetables. It looks as though they've essentially foraged in the surrounding jungle and created a soup out of it.
Nice.
How does it taste?
It tastes quite good. There's an interesting spice that you can't quite place that gives it just a little. It's almost like it could be like a cardamom perhaps flavor, but it's a little different from what you're used to. I don't know how culinary Theo is, but it tastes good. Like he likes it's good, and it's much welcome at this point in the day.
Theo will in fact ask as kind of the icebreaker. It's like, oh, so this is very good. What do you use for seasoning?
Well, we grow a plant right in the. I kind of jumped into Danvarius's accent there. The woman, she says,
I mean, she could be Sulis.
right. We have some gardens back in the jungle. They're small, patchy, but we do cultivate to some extent some herbs, and this is one of the herbs that we grow. And she pulls out this little pouch that she has in a larger sort of basket next to her, and she pulls it out and she hands it to you. It's about the size of a baseball, the pouch, and you open it up, and you take a smell of it, and you look at it, and it's like this dried black leaf, and it almost looks like a bay leaf kind of, but it's twisted and kind of curled, whereas bay leaves are kind of like flat, but it's about that size, kind of serrated edges, and it has a very pungent smell.
Oh,
That's the secret ingredient.
what's it called?
Love.
Yes, it is called love. It's called amane.
Amame. Very good.
Yes,
Thank you so
that's
much.
what we call it anyways.
You're the only
And then
people we know.
She goes on to give you like a list of the different ingredients that are in there, and there is the meat you find is a serpent. It is a snake.
It's only the second time I have had snakes too. It's the best one I've had though.
I'm glad you like it.
We definitely, I feel like we missed the introducing ourselves, which I apologize for, but it was a little busy when everything started. Hello, I'm Theo.
It's nice to meet you. My name is Nimue Carnieros. And this is my family, and she introduces her family, one by one by name, and she names everybody. So she's incorporating all of the villagers as her family, and she introduces them, and then she says, why, how did you come upon us at such a dire time? What are you seeking out here?
Well, I want to say something deep and meaningful, like the prophecy has led us here that we might save your village. But I feel that is a bit much. We are, in fact, looking for something, though.
He's not entirely wrong.
Mm.
Well, fair enough.
She kind of nods. She nods at you, Tenoch.
we are seeking two things, actually. Two people, a man and a woman, who are not from here, but also are not dressed as we are. I understand they look a bit more like my friend Tenoch here, if a bit taller, because they are not of his people. And we are also seeking a horrifying beast that stands 15 to 20 feet tall.
That wasn't the one that was flying.
No, completely different horrifying beast.
Yes, that raptor has lived nearby for a long time, but has never been this close to camp before. Perhaps the war cries and the howling have drawn it in. This beast that you seek, tell me, should we be concerned?
I would
Yes.
definitely be concerned. It was on your beach at some point yesterday or today.
You saw it? You saw
No, we
tracks?
found.
We saw tracks.
Also, hello, we found tracks
Hi.
right along the bank.
Well, wait a minute. This giant, deadly creature that you're tracking came through our village. What is next? And she looks in at the other villagers. These last weeks, we've been plagued by these gnolls. They have come to us on numerous occasions and stolen goods from us, foodstuffs, the things that we've grown to survive. They've taken some of our people.
How many
The
people
gnolls
have
are
they
new.
taken?
There are 4 people that they took that we know of. There are others that have gone missing. This is a small community, but the last time they were here, they took 3. I
When was
don't
the
know
last-
what they have planned, but they are ravenous beasts with no morals or code. They are cannibals.
When
You
did
know where they lair?
when did these attacks start?
Within the last 2 or 3 weeks, they came, they attacked us, threatened us, took what they wanted, said that they would be back to take more. We harvest and prepare and fish and gather, and they come and take whatever they wish. Now they have started to take some of the villagers. I don't know what their purpose was on this day.
Perhaps something has pushed them out of their norm if they haven't. This is the first time you've seen them these last few weeks.
They have been here on a couple of occasions, but this is the first that they've come with so many. And
I guess I mean, like, these are the only times that you've seen them.
we have not seen them before this.
Hmm.
They have one among them who speaks the common tongue. A man, human, calls himself Nash.
Nash Bridges?
That it could be. I didn't catch his last name. He kind of looks. She describes what Don Johnson looks like.
Canon.
He told us that they had been shipwrecked or something along the coast to the south, and that they needed supplies, and that they would let us, most of us, live if we just complied, which we tried, but it didn't work.
The
I think-
gnolls had been
and,
shipwrecked?
That's what this Nash Bridges told us.
I think Tenoch has the right of it. Do you know where they are laired?
I do not, but their tracks are numerous in the woods. It would be easy to follow them. They are not careful. It's almost as though they invite.
Theo's just going to give Tenoch a look. Going to give Rhunar a look. Look back to the nice lady. On the morrow, we will set out and we will destroy them.
Why don't we leave tonight? They'll never expect it.
How many are left?
I could use a rest.
Yeah.
I'll
we
give
could
you.
all-
I'll give you a potion.
I got hit really hard.
I know that.
I think after this fight, we take the night. If they are as easy to track as they say, time will not matter. If they come back in greater numbers in the morning, we will still be expecting them, and we'll be able to take them on more favorable terms. And if none of those happen, we will take them in their lair.
I say we leave prior to sunrise then, and I say we hit them before sunrise or at
I can do that.
sunrise.
You would do this for our village?
We'll save your village.
We will do this
We'll
for
we'll
a number
hunt
of
them down and
reasons.
we'll scour them from existence.
Do we risk losing the creature by doing this?
I don't think that
I
creature's going to get much further than it would anyway.
I will see what I can do.
And with all due respect, Captain, no, I'm not going to leave these people at the mercy of murder hyena men.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about that idea either, especially now that there's so few of them.
They
Um,
killed my ape and my baboon and my black bear.
I mean, they'll be back.
But those three won't.
Her name was Minue?
Yes.
Nimue.
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 Nimui.
Nimue.
Yeah.
Nimue. Wow,
Nimue,
everybody
Nimue.
had it wrong.
Blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
Nimue.
It's the jungle thing.
Yeah.
Nimue. Okay.
Yep.
Nimue. Do you have a way of fortifying your structure to protect people inside?
We will do what we can, but as you can see, we are not designed for fortification or battle.
Right.
That is part of the reason why these gnolls were able to take advantage of us, but we are strong people. The people of Lambakaya will survive, and
Oh,
with your help, we will make it through this time.
Well, it might be going forward for a little bit, especially with this creature that we haven't been able to find. It might be a good idea to have somebody keep watch at night.
How
You know this-
dangerous is this creature? If it came through, as you say, yet did not stop for whatever reason.
You're fortunate.
We don't know. It tried to take somebody that we know. But with that said, the creature knew of this person before. I don't know how else to explain it to you.
We think.
We don't know right now if it just hunts people. We don't think it does. We don't know what it's up to yet.
These others that you mentioned you're tracking, Theo, she looks over at you, the two that you describe, what is their connection to this?
We don't know yet. That is part of why we are seeking them. We think they are related to it, but we would like to speak with them and find those answers.
Well, for now, rest, eat. There's plenty of food that remains. That is one thing that we are lucky with is the bounty that the Tuatha de Beorri bestows upon us. If there's anything else we can do to make your stay comfortable, please let us know.
I'm not as so much worried about comfort so much as I do think tonight we should all stay together in the same longhouse so we can keep watch just in case something comes back. That is the least we can do before we head
Should
after
we
the
be
elf.
split up to have eyes in different places?
We already have our own little hut, right?
We
Did they
do.
already make it for us? So
Mhm.
we're staying separately from them already.
Yeah, yes, but I'm saying maybe we shouldn't because we'll keep watch out of habit.
Yes, of course.
Maybe we should all keep watch together in the same very large building.
We could do that.
Omaran here will also keep watch with you, and she gestures over to the old man with no teeth that looks over at you and just kind of.
I'm like,
Yeah.
how about that other guy? Wasn't there a younger guy in that couple?
Yep. Oh, Ilian. Yes, of course.
Well, I
we
don't
will.
know.
We
How
will.
is he on the watch?
He's wonderful.
Does he have good eyesight still? No
He's
offense.
blind. I'm just
How-
kidding.
does he
Yes,
hear
yes, they're
well?
all. Yes, we will participate as well. These are dire times, and we need to have a watch. That is very good. And so she goes about her business. Obviously, she's available if you have more questions. You can certainly ask them.
I
She
have some
kind of
questions.
yeah, go right ahead.
How long have you been here?
We have lived here for. She looks over at Omarin, and he's like, "It's been 3 generations of us that have lived out here." And she nods. Yes, 3 generations. My great grandparents and a group of people moved out here from Cyber, and we have never sought a need to go back. We are followers of the old faith, and well, we are closer to the energy. The farther we enter into the interior of the island, it calls to us. This place
Do
has
you-
given us bounty and refuge. Up until the last few weeks, we had lived here virtually unscathed or unmolested.
Do you know Malakt?
We have heard of him. He has not shown himself to us, but there are stories from the elder folk of his presence in the jungle around us. He is a follower as well and learned in the druidic arts.
Yes, we
And
met
you,
him.
what is your connection to the energy? I see something. I can sense it.
Yes, I am marked by the spirit of our people, Mother Tiger.
your
I
people-
share her dreams.
From where do you originate, your people?
I never remember what it's actually called. Not Amedio. Is it? It's not Amedio.
Indikara.
Indikara. The people from the sea princes call it Indikara.
I have not heard of it.
Across the sea to the south.
Is it like this place?
Denser.
Hmm.
Hotter.
Yes. Well, this mother tiger of yours, does she guide you on this quest? Is that why you've come?
Yeah. Yeah. I have seen things in her dreams that have led me here. Terrible things.
Well, from the display earlier, it seems as though you've thrown in with a capable crew. And she looks back to the rest of you, kind of noticing again that you're all sitting there. And she says, we thank you for helping us today, for saving us. I have something for you. And she nods over at Amarin, and the old man gets up, and he kind of has a hard time standing up. And he does one of these, kind of stretches his back, and he kind of walks off. And a couple minutes pass, and the night is growing dark now. The fire is glowing. The firelight kind of becomes more prominent in your sort of local vision, and the insects you can hear buzzing around, but they seem to steer clear of the fire itself, and the smoke that it gives off seems to be a deterrent. But he comes back shortly thereafter, and he has draped on his arm these 4 I guess you'd describe them as kind of necklaces. They're like on leather strips, like hide strips, and they have a leather patch that has two holes punched in it with the leather kind of weaved through the holes. It's about the size of maybe like a deck of playing cards, like that height and width, and it has some sort of markings on it. And he hands one to each of you, and she says, "This is something that will protect you. Will protect you from some of the darker elements of the jungle. There are many things within that pierce and poke, and many of those things also have the ability to secrete poisons and toxins. These tokens will protect you. They are not permanent, but they will help you in a dire situation." And you each take one. They all look a little different. They're definitely not like off of a processing line. They're all very much handcrafted, handmade little leather tokens that are on these leather straps. And mechanically, they will grant you resistance to poison damage on one strike.
My thanks.
Yes.
If there's anything else that I can do for you, please don't hesitate to ask. The family is more than happy to help. And as I said, our folk will assist with the watch this evening.
What brought you all out here?
We sought a simpler life and to be closer to the energies of the great Druid.
The Great Druid. What is the Great Druid?
The great Druid, Adama Lucy. She is, some say, the Hierophant of Tuatha, of Beorri. She is the incarnation, you might say, of the pantheon, the voice and the hand of the Dozen King. She represents the circle on this island. This island has great power. It in of itself is a connection to something beyond that of the normal understanding of nature. There's something here on this island itself has drawn many because of the powers within. It is
We are
thought,
finding.
yes, and there are many strange things, creatures, plants, and others that dwell upon this land and within its waters. Many have come like us in search of a connection.
And this Great Druid, we have heard a name associated with the Great
Adama
Druid.
Lucy.
Yes.
Yes,
Uh,
Adama Ilusi.
The
That's
ladies of the
literally
Elder...
the name she just said.
Yeah. We also have heard of the ladies of the Elder Grove.
The ladies. They are dangerous.
I was given that impression. I'm guessing, and when we say dangerous, we mean, again, hags or witches living in a hut in the swamp, and they may curse you or help you depending on their mood, or anything they give you is actually a curse, that sort of thing.
Yes, their motivations are always selfish. Their motivations are always to take. They devour. They are diametrically opposed to the energy of the Tuatha de Beorri. They seek to cannibalize it for their own will. I caution you, if you seek them out, be very careful.
I think with that recommendation, we will very specifically not be doing that.
It may be that if your quest is of as much importance as I have understood it to be, that they may find you. So be careful out there.
We are always careful. It's not like we didn't have just a giant toad man from another layer of the entire cosmos wander into our camp last night, and that didn't freak us out at all.
Well, Manui, when we were speaking to Malakt, he said that Adama Lucy would be the only one that could help us find this beast.
She will find.
You know how-
both? You just said both names wrong.
What is the name? Adama Lucy?
Yeah, Adama Lucy.
Okay.
Yep, I think you got it right. At least it was close enough.
Well, a minute ago you said Illucy, or it sounded like it.
It's a Adama Ilusi.
Illucy, yeah,
Yep.
that's what I
Yep.
said. All right,
Admiral Adama.
Illucy.
John Smith. We'll just go with
Yep.
John Smith.
John
That'll be
Smith.
easier. Yep.
Well,
No. So she responds to you.
If-
She says,
"Do you know where Adama can be found?" I guess is what I want to know.
I do not. Adama can only be found when Adama seeks to be found. Part of our intergenerational journey here has been to prepare ourselves for that reunion with the great Druid. We've been here for 3 generations. If that tells you anything.
At this point, Byron's gonna kind of like lean forward and kind of nudge Tenoch and be like, Tenoch, go to bed. You look like shit, dude. Like
Thanks.
It's driving me nuts. You should be asleep. Like, go lay down, and we'll cover watch. Just go lay down, heal. Then I'll look over at Rhunar and I'll be like, you took more arrows than I've seen anyone take in a single combat, and survived all of them somehow. Go to bed. And I'm gonna point at the beds, and I'm gonna be like, go to bed.
I look down.
No
and
more
I still
questions.
I
Go to
still
bed.
got one sticking out of my chest.
Don't take that out. Just go to bed.
It's broken off, but it's still like a couple inches out of my armor. All right, you guys take watch. Don't be sleeping tonight either.
I don't want to hear it. Go to bed.
Keep an eye on him, Theo.
So the night begins to fall darker and darker. Is there anything else that you want to talk to? Yes, go right ahead. If you do have additional questions, please.
Oh, I don't have any more questions. I have one more thing I want to do before I go to bed.
Okay.
But
Does anybody else have more questions for the villagers?
No, I'm good.
It's everything
Not
to think
tonight,
of.
no.
Okay. All right. So let's do this. Tenoch, why don't you go ahead and start? Things that
Okay.
you want to do before taking your long rest.
I'm gonna find a place a little ways away, kind of maybe out of the way from where other people are, and I'm going to cast Divination.
Okay.
Hang on, let me double check, make sure that's what I'm doing. Yep, that's what I'm doing.
Okay.
Yeah, so I lay out, I start a little fire with the incense. I lay out my skin and the little bits and baubles and teeth and bones, and I play the drum and chant and all of that. And I ask Mother Tiger, or whoever answers, I guess. I guess what is the So mechanically, it lets me ask about something that will occur within 7 days. So I'm hedging my bets and that we're going to find this thing within 7 days. And I'm going to ask, what is, I guess, what is our best course of action to find this creature? Following its tracks, seeking out these hags, or wandering about randomly, that kind of thing.
Okay. You conduct your ritual with the drumming and burning of some incense, and you sort of enter this trance-like state where you sort of project yourself into the dream world, the dream realm, if you will. Your eyes close and you're absorbed in your mind, and your mind merges with that of this greater dream realm that you have been tapping into for much of your adulthood. And you have a vision of a tiger creeping through the jungle, and you can see that it is in a heightened sense of what's the right word? It's in a heightened sense of awareness, in the sense that it is creeping forward slowly, as if tracking something, as if creeping up on prey, as if it's about to attack its food, or that kind of vibe that you're getting.
Mm-hmm.
And it emerges, and it when I say it emerges, it's almost like you emerge, because you and it sort of become one essence in this vision.
Mm-hmm.
You emerge into this clearing, and there is a tall tree, beautiful, giant roots that form like these little areas that are shielded from the surrounding flow of wind. And you know that because there's a small fire burning in one of them, and the smoke is rising up, this almost like a bluish sort of smoke. And as you come around and you step over this root, still tracking forward, you are filled with this sense of ease and almost like this invitation. And you come around and you see this person sitting cross-legged in front of a small fire, head down. Atop its head are these large antlers, stag antlers, if you will, almost like elk antlers.
Mm-hmm.
And you, as if you know this individual, you creep forward and you sit down and curl up against one of the roots of the trunk. And as you lick your paws and sort of groom yourself, you look up and you see this beautiful woman with birds that are sort of nesting in her hair, and these beautiful beads, her face painted with tattoos and colorful markings. She's wearing what appear to be living plants, and there are animals crawling around her. And she looks at you, she raises her head and looks up, and she says, "Welcome, Tenoch. Find me. I am Adama." And then you snap to it and you come out of it.
Huh. I'll gather my stuff and I'll go find Nimue again, if
Okay.
she's still up and around, I guess, or
Sure.
somebody.
Yeah, you can find her. She's kind of checking around on people. She's just leaving the hut where your friends are staying, kind of making sure that everybody's okay. They have everything they need, and she's walking back to her hut, and you approach.
Question. What what do you know of a great tree?
Hmm. Well, there are.
Larger, more bountiful and beautiful than even these.
Yes. Yes, I know what you speak of. Here, look.
Is it
And
a
she squats down and she takes a stick and she starts sort of tracing the stick in the dirt, and you can see that she's sort of sketching out a rough map. And she puts an X. She's like, "This is us here on the river." And then she sort of draws a squiggly line. The river flows to the northeast, where there is a grove. Beautiful trees. There is one tree there, more majestic than the rest. That is what I can think of.
Hmm.
We do not have a name for this place, but it is a holy place. It is a place that we have made pilgrimages to. There are no trails to get there. But with your hawk friend, I imagine you might be able to find it much easier than if you were just traveling on the ground.
I'll be able to find it. Again. My thanks. Sleep well.
As you. And she walks off.
And
Does anybody
yeah,
else have anything they want to do?
I'm gonna go rack out.
Okay. Who if not, who's taking watch?
Byron's actually gonna have dipped out early, and he's probably gonna from everyone. Not like gone to bed. Don't get me wrong. No, Byron's in a mood. I'm not gonna lie. He's gonna have dipped out. He's gonna pull his cloak up, and he's gonna be walking the perimeter. He's gonna be taking the first watch and probably the second watch. He's just gonna keep walking. He's gonna walk around the perimeter over and over, stealthily, trying to, basically catch anything that attempts to sneak up on the village off guard with a sneak attack. Because
He's just
you know,
killing mice.
yeah, he's killing animal. Whatever attempts to get into the village without permission, Byron's ready for it because he's thinking back all the way to like Ebony's, Lakoa, Mira, and Mina, to the Seekers group that he was with prior to meeting, the Deg Gang. He's thinking back to Irin. He's thinking back to, all the people he's lost through his time, and he's pacing. He's not going to let it happen anymore. He's done. He's lost an ape. He's lost a baboon, a bear. Just this last day, he's furious.
The axe beak.
Yeah, my axe beak. I lost another baboon. I'm pretty sure I lost a hyena, a giant hyena. Like these things are. This isn't gonna happen anymore to him. Byron's pissed. He's on patrol. He's looking for a bad time for somebody else.
He has become very connected to this bag of tricks. I will fully acknowledge that.
I really want us to find out later on that it's in fact actually only one baboon, and it just keeps dying and reconstituting.
Just a terrible fate.
I don't want to think that. No.
Maybe let's
Like
not go there, right?
every time it shows up, Dave is rolling to see if it just starts going berserk and killing everybody. I hate my life.
That really brings up an interesting point because no one's ever really done the research
Yeah.
into bags of tricks and exactly what is going on.
They're kind of like familiars in a way, right?
Kind of. So the way I
They're-
understand it is like they're pulled from another place in existence.
They're real creatures. They're real animals.
Oh,
when they
they're
hit the
real.
ground.
They're not
they're
like,
animals.
Okay.
They want to live regular animal lives,
Okay.
but they are
they are
forced
cursed.
into
They are cursed.
understanding me.
Here's something to think about. And Byron, as you're walking about, looking for, anything that might cause danger to the village or your friends, you think about the animals that you've lost over the course of your connection with this bag of tricks, and you start to wonder, wait a minute, what if we're just in a bag of tricks? What if I'm a fuzzy ball in a bag of tricks, and I just keep getting thrown at? No, forget. I can't think about that. I can't. You get a little flustered for a minute, and you go about your watch. Roll a perception check for me, and Theo as well. You were also on the first watch, I think you said. So go ahead and both of you can roll a perception check, and Byron, roll a d20 as well.
I got a 12.
What'd
Apparently,
you
Byron.
get?
Well,
I got a 23.
Okay.
Oh, what? I rolled a D29. I meant to. That's wrong.
A d29. Whoa,
What?
that's
Oops.
cool.
And I got an 18 on that D20.
Okay. Theo, you don't hear a whole lot. You can hear the fire crackling and flickering. You can hear the frogs croaking in the jungle. You can hear a little bit of movement in one of the nearby huts as people are sort of settling in, but nothing that causes any sort of alarm. And Byron, as you're walking about the perimeter, you do see a snake that slithers up from the water's edge. You catch it really quickly because it's fast, and it zips off a little bit to about 10 feet away from you into some brush, and you lose it in the ferns.
Okay. But is that it? Like I just see a snake.
You see a
squiggle by?
snake. Yep, it's probably like a garter snake.
I'll just watch it. But keep moving.
one
Yep,
thing I
you
would say is while Theo's on watch, there's no Byron suddenly. Like he's awake. That wasn't accounted for. So he's gonna pull out the packed weapon and clean it, and just because he's kind of realized he was used to it at some points with other sailors and sails, and when he just starts having the type of conversations you have on watch, but he's talking to the sword. Just crazy day, wasn't it? It was a giant bird. You ever seen anything like that? No, imagine. And just that he just kind of talks to the sword for a little bit.
So
okay.
here's a question, if I may, real quick, for you, Michael.
Sure.
When you unsummon the sword, does things that are on it go with it then if you have to clean it? Or does the blood just fall away?
Falls away, but since it's an entire action to summon and unsummon, he doesn't do it that often.
So you do have a scabbard for it, right? You keep it in a scabbard from time to time, or not really? No. So a lot of times you're just walking out with your sword.
Yeah, it's a thing I've realized it's happening, and I'm going to be more judicious in ensuring I mention and describe.
Okay.
Or is
Yeah.
it like the Joker in the first Batman movie where he pulls out that giant pistol out of his pocket? You're like, where did that come from? Like pull out this giant sword.
I think my understanding is you just kind of put out your hand and it appears in your hand when you summon
but
it. Yeah.
It does, but it's one of those things where you want it summoned before combat, and combat sneaks up on us so often, he's just got into the habit of leaving it out.
Got it.
It sneaks up on us.
Theo, as you're sitting around the fire and you're having this sort of one-sided conversation with your sword as you're cleaning it, you feel it start to almost not really. It doesn't really vibrate or buzz, but you can feel it like it gives off a warmth.
He just looks down halfway through, realizes that, goes, "Oh shit, you're listening." Okay. Well, do I ask how your day was? You never mind. You know how your day was. Are you at least enjoying watching all these foolish little adventures we are on? Because this has certainly been interesting to live through.
You hear a voice in your head, mostly. Not a
Mostly.
voice, not a voice audibly, as if someone else could overhear the conversation, but it's a familiar voice. You've heard it before. It's the voice of Kalistani, your sword, and it says, "Yes, it has been an adventure here in the jungle, and I respect your code, your desire to help these people. It is not the path of the destiny for the two of us, but it is noble and it is important. I'm glad you reached out to me. It's hard for me still to reach out to you when the intention is not present. Your desire to communicate is helpful to draw me in. I can feel the power growing each time. Your power, specifically."
Well, that's and if anyone were there, they could literally see Theo blush. Well, well, you don't have to expend too much energy. I don't know what sort of conversations you sort of beings enjoy having. I can happily ramble on, and you can reply whenever you want to, or have something important, or request a shiny new scabbard. I don't know what your needs are. If you communicate them, we will meet them.
We have much to do, Theoderic. High on that list is to kill Aphis.
Oh, yes. He has to die.
I will say this. I have never said this before to anyone who's wielded me, but it was not my intention to put you in harm in the pillars of hell, to draw you towards him. He is more powerful than we are now. But there will come a day when my desire to kill him and others of his kind will be met with our collaborative power. It will happen.
Do not worry. That wasn't just you going after him. He's gonna pay for a lot of things.
I will say this. He is but one on my list. A means towards greater vengeance.
You have a hit list of devil lords?
God, yeah, we got Byron's got lists.
It is.
The sword has
You could call it a list. We will speak more of this in the future. Now is not the time. Focus your energies, and I will focus mine on the task at hand. You've done well, but there's much to do. Do you understand?
Theo just kind of leans in and goes, I am very much here for this, yes.
Sleep well.
And you guys are worried about my weapon collection.
Hey, at least mine talks back to me.
Yeah, but Runar's weapons don't make lists.
Rhunar weapons
Theo,
are a list.
But Theo agrees with this weapon.
They represent a list of people. Yes.
Theo, you feel the warmth of the hilt sort of fade as the conversation ends, and you can sort of feel as though the power that's within your packed weapon has sort of gone back into whatever is sort of like the normal state that it operates in. And you get the sense from the conversation that yes, it is very much at the point in your relationship where it almost needs to be pulled into a conversation. It can't just connect with you through that sort of almost like a telepathic link. It really requires you to draw it in.
Well, that is good to know, and Theo will do that when appropriate, but Theo will also look around and look back down at the swords like, bad news for you. I'm probably going to keep rambling at you anyway, but don't worry. It's perfectly normal for a person to talk to their sentient magic sword that they're partially drawing power from. I'm not going to think about that too hard. And just continues on with watch.
All right. So the watch that you have goes on without any sort of danger approaching or anything like that. Nothing that sets off your alarms, and you come to the end of your watch. But the time that you're done with your watch, you see the old man Omarin kind of come out of the nearby hut and gently climb down the ladder, and he walks over to the fire. And he picks up a log and throws it on the fire. And he nods at you.
It's been quiet so far, but keep an eye out.
I will do.
That's okay. I'm going to go wake somebody else up as well, because if I have to stay up for watch, so do all of them. And then Theo's going to go into the hut, and he's going to look for Byron in Byron's bed. Is Byron in his bed?
Byron's still on patrol.
Byron is going to wake up Rhunar. Hey, Captain?
No, I'm not.
Yeah. Is my watch?
It is, and I believe a miracle has occurred. He just points at Byron's bedroll.
He's still up.
Or he's been kidnapped by something. Just keep an eye out for that.
Where is he?
Kidnap by pirates is cool.
Either of which is a miracle.
At which point Theo just kind of takes off his breastplate and settles down under a blanket.
All right, I'll get up for my watch.
You climb down the ladder and you head over to the fire. And you sort of, you're kind of stretching, kind of waking up a little bit and checking all your various weapons to make sure that they're within reach should you need them. And you see the old man sitting by the fire.
I'm
He's
just
kind
gonna
of looking around. He nods at you.
give him a nod. I'm gonna
Go ahead go ahead.
I'm just gonna wander down kind of a little closer to the dock though to stay away from the fire and keep my night vision good.
Sure. All right, roll a perception check, and I'll have you roll with advantage because he's helping you, and then
right.
I don't have to roll for him. You can just roll.
Oh, I clicked the button. There it goes. 16.
16. Okay, and then roll a d20.
5.
Okay. You go down to the boat, and the boat is sort of gently floating in the water. It's lashed to the dock. You kind of check on things, and everything seems to be in order. And you kind of stand on the dock a little bit.
Yeah.
Sure. And you hear a splash in the water upstream.
Like a big one or like a fish jumping?
Roll a nature check.
Oh, I still had advantage on 18 though.
Pretty good. It doesn't seem like it was a big splash, and it seems like it was fairly close. Could be a fish.
I'm gonna take my bow out and just have it ready, just in case. Just be holding it, just in case something goes down.
Okay.
But other than that, I'm just gonna kind of quietly pace around.
So the nice thing about this evening is that it's not raining, and it has rained the last 2 or 3 nights that you've been on the island. And you've really only been on the island for 3 nights. I think this is the 3rd night, maybe the 4th night.
Oh gosh, it is, yeah.
Yeah, but it's been raining almost pretty much consistently every night. This night, it is not. You can hear the distant rumble of thunder to the west from where you came from. And you can see occasionally a flash of lightning in the distance. But above you is a relatively clear sky. It's dark, and there are stars. The stars are just brilliant across the sky. And it's actually quite beautiful. And you take a minute to appreciate it for what it is. and you keep your watch, and whatever it was that splashed in the water does not pose any threat to you throughout the rest of your watch.
All right. Any sign of Byron?
Probably not. Byron, would you be sort of like stealthily moving about?
Yeah, I'd be moving basically the perimeter. So from the beach to the southwest, up along the tree line, over behind the huts,
Okay.
to the beach on the far east, and then back. I'd be
So
constantly moving back and forth.
do you make it over near the dock at all?
No, I wouldn't. I
Okay.
wouldn't worry about the water very much.
Okay. So yeah, Rhunar, you do not see him.
All right. I guess so my watch is up. Do I need to wake somebody else up for watch?
Yeah, there'll be one more watch.
I guess I'll go wake up Danvarius then.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. Deg. Yeah. I'm on it.
you're up.
Okay. He gets up and sort of gathers his sword and his bow and steps back outside. Let's see. Danvarius. Anybody going to be on watch with him? Everybody's kind of done a watch, huh?
Yeah, I'll stay on
Yeah.
watch with him.
I haven't done a watch.
Oh, okay.
Tenoch hasn't. Okay. I would, in my mind, I would wake up Tenoch before Danvarius. Like I trust
right,
Tenoch more.
We'll
So-
just say the two of them are going to
Okay.
take a watch. So go ahead, Tenoch, and roll a perception check and a d20 for me. Ooh, 22 perception check for Danvarius. He's pretty good at perception.
Perception.
Nice.
And a D20. 18.
Okay. Do you do anything in particular, Tenoch, in terms of the watch? Everybody else has kind of had little things that happen. You don't need to, but if you want to, you can.
I might try to, maybe climb on top of like one of the huts, like get some elevation, just to get a little bit better sight lines, especially since I don't have any particular good skill at seeing things. I'm definitely not Erin on the perception rolls. And I don't have night vision to speak of.
Well, luckily the night is lit quite nicely by the stars, and then there is the glow of the fire, which Danvarius keeps going through the watch. But yeah, easily you climb up on top of one of the huts, and very similar. You look up and it's just brilliant stars, and some of which you definitely recognize the constellations. But it's absolutely beautiful. And you look around with that roll, you can see Danvarius at the fire. He takes, at one point in the watch, he takes a stroll down to the dock in the boat. And you can't really tell what's going on down there, but he's down on the dock for maybe 20, 30 minutes. And then he comes back up to the fire.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep watch. I'm not gonna engage him.
Okay.
If I notice it's the third watch by now, I might actually pop in to the hut and lay down and go to bed.
Okay.
So I get
Good
at least
call.
some rest.
Yep. All right. So you go in and lay down. Tenoch, your watch, Danvarius' watch, the rest of it goes uninterrupted by any sort of creatures from the darkness. But you definitely are on heightened alert as you listen and watch to the best of your ability. Eventually, the sun starts to peek over the horizon, and the warm glow of the sunshine cast across the landscape starts to light up the areas of the village, and you see that some of the villagers are now moving about, coming out of the hut and preparing food at the fire. The rest of you wake at about this time and make your way down to the fire as well. It's still early, so it's not fully like full brightness of the sun yet. It's still, the sun is still coming up, but there's enough activity that you wake. If you want to sleep in, you certainly can, but it's up to you guys.
Byron's gonna kick anyone who's still asleep awake. And he's gonna be like, "It's time. We need to move. We need to move
Yeah.
on these gnolls."
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
Rhunar.
time.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't want them to sleep in. I want them. No. Don't get me wrong. I want them to sleep in. I want us to get them while they're still tired.
Literally already putting on my breastplate, my friend. Do not worry.
Yep. I'm like, I have my shield in hand already. I'm like ready to draw my dagger and my rapier, which I've now re-equipped to my belt.
Okay.
Nice.
Now I'm going to ask a very important question. Hey, Tenoch, are you a decent tracker?
Yeah.
Just checking, because I'm okay at it, but I don't know how everyone else is at it.
I'm
Don't
pretty
worry,
good
we
at
hired a
tracking.
guide for this.
Once we figure out this null thing, I know where we need to go.
What? Hold on. Have that thought while we're looking. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Minue know that we're gonna start tracking the gnolls, and we're gonna leave.
Be careful, friends, and thank you for
Oh,
helping us.
damn it! It was so close. Sorry.
Oh, is that your portent?
My portent roll.
Yep. Yeah, so you guys gather up your supplies. Minui gives you some
Good,
food.
though.
So she gives you, each a little bundle that has some cooked meat and some fruit looks fruit and vegetables that look to have been roasted over the fire. Looks very, very nutritious and delicious. And
Just smells amazing. Thank you.
Yep. And she gives those to you, and then you guys can do what you will. What would you guys like to do at this point?
Let's start tracking, boys.
I say we hunt these gnolls to the end of the earth, and
I suggest we
remove
start
them
to the
from
west where
existence.
the one that ran away went.
I
Yeah.
concur.
Yeah, I'll go towards
Yep.
where I saw that last gnoll run off and start looking for tracks.
All right. Go ahead and roll a survival check for me.
I'm.
Yes, do tell. What do you
Anybody
do?
want to help?
Dan Virus will help
I
you.
will assist. Oh, Dan Various will let him.
I am going to.
Roll with advantage, Rhunar. Go ahead, Tenoch.
I'm going to cast enhance ability on myself
Okay.
22.
and give myself the owl's wisdom. Or maybe, yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Which will give me advantage on wisdom checks.
How long does that last for?
An hour with concentration, so it's not
Okay.
like probably not the best use of a second level spell, but what do you do?
Okay. Yeah, Rhunar, you and Dan Virius sort of leading the charge as you work your way to the the last known location of the gnoll that got away, and you quickly find the tracks. And it's very distinct because it almost looks as though the gnoll, as it was running, it was kind of dragging one of its feet. So there's like footprints and then a scrape, footprints and a scrape, and so it's relatively easy to track. And you find it right away, and you see the trail, and it leads off into the underbrush. And even though it's extremely dense, and you know that the terrain is difficult, and that you're going to be moving at a slower rate of movement than you normally would, half speed, you can see where the tracks lead.
All right, I found it. It's this way.
Yeah, holy shit, it is. Let's go.
Start heading into the jungle.
Okay. Tenoch, was there something that you wanted to do with your enhanced ability? right now, or do you want to wait a little bit?
No, I guess I was gonna help track, but I guess ultimately Runar's better at it than I am.
I can, yeah, I can track.
He's a
I
tracker.
mean,
that guy.
you're not like
Sometimes.
much better than it than I am, but
You follow the track, and it's not easy. You're kind of breaking through brambles, and you almost kind of wonder how this gnoll. Granted, they're they're a little bit more wily than you might be. But how do they get through this area? But still, you can see the tracks. Every once in a while, you see branches that are broken, indicating and recently broken. And Dan Virius is also pointing these out as well. He fancies himself as a bit of a tracker as well. And it doesn't take much more than 20 to 30 minutes of crashing through this thick brush where you pop out onto what appears to be a game trail. And you can see that the gnoll tracks, head north on the game trail.
All right,
let's go.
let's follow it. Yeah.
Yeah, let's be careful though. We don't know what created this trail. Yeah.
I mean, it's not like
Why don't you let me lead? I'll lead. And I'll.
Yeah. What's
I'll
the
sneak in
marching
front.
order? It's a narrow trail. So what's the marching order as we go through?
I'll go first, and I'll stealth like 20 feet ahead of everyone else.
Yeah. Stay
Okay.
within a radius.
Can you stealth at full speed?
We're moving at slow speed, anyways, aren't we?
Now
Well,
you're moving. Now you're not on difficult terrain anymore because you're on a game trail. But when you
Okay.
move, when you're stealth moving, it's half speed. Unless you're a
Let's-
ranger, I think rangers have some abilities.
Rangers can
Right.
do that.
Why don't
Unless
you
you're a
guys move at
ranger.
half speed, and I'll stealth ahead at half speed?
Okay.
At which point, why don't we all sneak?
But
Yeah, why don't we all sneak? Let's all sneak.
why sneak?
do we know if we're even close to it?
It doesn't matter. We don't want them to know that we're coming.
We also
Right.
don't want whatever made this game trail, if it happens to be an owl bear, to just kind of hear us coming.
All right.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
we're not from here, but they're gonna know that we're here.
Danvarius, any idea what kind of game made this trail?
It's not a very wide trail, yeah. So hopefully something small. Here, look at this. And he kind of points at the brush. He's like, "There's nothing's broken on the sides, so I'm thinking it might be small stature. Yeah, could be tapir maybe, or some sort of roe deer maybe. I don't know.
Perhaps a
Right.
dick.
Could be something different. Lots of gnolls, perhaps." he kind
It's
of
just the Knoll Highway.
he kind
So-
of chuckles
There's a
uncomfortably.
lot of dicks in this woods right now.
So we are
All
either
right,
being
let's keep
cautious
moving.
or not as a group. We have to make that decision.
I
I
think
say we be
stealth is a
cautious,
good
but we
good
move
idea.
quickly.
All right.
Yeah,
we'll go
stealth
stealthy.
is good.
We'll go stealthy. Move.
So
All
who's
right.
going after Byron?
I'll be in
All
the
right.
front. I don't care.
Yeah.
All right, so Byron, Rhunar.
Theo will
I'll
bring
go
up
in the middle.
Okay, Tenoch, Dan Virius, and Theo in the back. Okay. All right. Everybody roll stealth checks for me.
I don't know why I rolled for stealth.
Yeah, try a stealth check.
No, your other stealth.
There you go. Let's see. Dan Virius.
Nice one, Byron.
I know, right?
That's what I'm good at. That's
He
what
goes-
I'm good at.
He goes invisible.
This is why Theo is
You
in the
can't
back.
see me. You can't see me.
Even without
All
armor
right.
that gives you disadvantage, you still roll shit on stealth.
So we've got a 30 from Byron, a 19 from Tenoch, and an 18 from Deg, a 9 from Theo, and a 25 from Dan Virius. You guys get the sense that you're moving pretty stealthily through this section of the jungle. And the game trail continues on. You follow it for maybe an hour. possibly 2 hours, and Rhunar, you're the first one to pick up the scent of beast, of animal. It smells like,
Smells like
I don't
gnoll.
know, possibly.
I was
It
just in
might,
a
it might,
huge
yeah.
gnoll party. I smell
Yep.
something gamey. You smell that?
Yeah. We're getting close, yeah.
Think so. Be ready. All
I'll
right.
send out my hawk
All right.
to do a bit of scouting. Why would you do that? 10. The 10 was the best one that counts. That 12 doesn't count.
It takes a little while. Do you guys keep walking and moving while you've got the hawk out, or do you take a break to wait, or how does that work?
Um,
Are you looking through the hawk?
yeah. Well, I guess I can only look through the hawk at 100 feet. So I might look. Through the hawk's eyes, like initially, like as he gets some altitude, and then let him fly a bit, and then we can move, and then have him come back. Like we probably have like a, I bet like we probably have like a set like pattern. Like I'll be like, oh, go scout, and he'll kind of do his thing, get some altitude, and then do it like a, like a wheel around a bit, and then come back, and so he can share his what he's found.
Okay. You send him up. Was the 12 his perception check?
The
Is that what
it
that
was
was?
a 10. It was a
Oh, it was
10.
a 10.
The
Got
12
it.
because he has advantage, but for some reason the second time it rolled twice.
Got it.
So it was
So it was a
just 6
10
plus 4.
perception.
Yeah.
So he's up there, and you can see through his eyes, and you are close. There is you've walked on this game trail now, and it's relatively dry. It's muddy in places, but you get the sense that you're moving sort of up from the marshy area near the river as you make your way a little bit north and east into the interior. And the information that you get right away as the hawk looks around is that there is a camp of some kind up ahead. Unclear of how many creatures are inhabiting the camp, but there's movement, and they look like the creatures that you just got done fighting.
Do I have a sense of how far?
Close.
Close.
Mm-hmm.
So like,
Now, remember that you can smell, like, once Rhunar pointed out the odor, you can
yeah,
all
you can
smell it now.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll say, hold up. There's a camp. It's right up there. It's close. It's right up there.
Got it.
A number of them. Gnolls, as you say.
I'm gonna knock an arrow.
Yeah, what's the plan then? Are we going to just march right in there?
Yep.
Or
Let's do it.
No, I think we maybe should sneak up on them, get a lay of the land, figure out if there's a convenient and easy way to get them all at once using some sort of environmental ploy, or to see if we just are going to start killing. We'll see.
Could throw
yeah,
a
I
distraction.
like that.
Byron.
Yeah.
Was Byron up ahead of us?
Yeah.
But
Let's
did
try
he
and
get a
stay
little
ahead.
closer than we did?
You tell me, Byron. Are
I
you
would
with the group
say-
right now?
I would say I'm like maybe 10 feet ahead of them, not very far ahead of them. I would say I stopped and did like 12 hand signals that they don't understand.
I was gonna be like,
It's like Travis Willingham.
I'm gonna motion for Byron to come back, so we
Right,
can
I'll
have a
sneak
discussion.
back. I'll back up to them. Then I'll whisper. I'll be like,
You see a good way to go in?
I think what if we just, I'll move around to the right and you guys move around to the left. And the moment any of us is detected, we all move in, and then we have them surrounded.
I think splitting up is
yeah.
without a buddy is not a good combat strategy.
Yep, I think
I
you're
started
right.
feeling like we were too far apart from each other in that last battle. It was too much space.
Okay, what about
Stay
this?
within
Oh,
30
I
feet of each
thought it
other.
was fine.
What if you guys stay
Good.
right? What if you guys stay
It
10
worked
feet
out great.
behind me?
Yeah.
You guys stay 10 feet behind me, and I'll just sneak up and I'll just take them out one by one. And if a bunch of them are alerted, you guys are only 10 feet away.
We'll give a slight flank, but we'll stay within 30 feet max of you, so we can
Okay.
get to you. And likewise.
All right,
Right.
and I'll just sneak in and I'll start slit throats.
How about I get a better look at the camp?
That's a good
Be very
idea.
helpful, please.
Yeah,
Tell me
yeah.
where
I
they
think
are.
the more information, the better. Yeah.
All right, let's get off the trail, perhaps.
Yeah, good
Idea.
idea. Let's move into the underbrush.
All right, everybody roll an additional stealth check for me. Now that we're a little bit
More-
closer to the action.
Not
More
perception.
stealth.
Now is when we step on twigs.
22 for this guy.
8.
I got 28.
Fucking
Wow.
Rhunar
Six. That wasn't even me.
Runar just lets a big ol' fart out.
I was looking at someone else's. Yeah, natural 1 for a 6
Oh,
total.
jeesh. All right, let's get one from Dan Various here.
And just step on all the twigs and dry
14.
leaves.
So a 14 and 8, a 6, a 28, and a 22. All right. So you move off into the underbrush, off of the trail. It's thick, as you're accustomed to, having been in this swampy jungle for some time now, and it's really hard to move through it. You have to kind of duck underneath and do like these strange sort of like acrobatic style contortions to make your way through these bramble patches and these branches that stick out and are clawing at your clothing and at your skin. But you do get off the trail, and you feel you're not super sure. Some of you feel pretty good about your ability to sneak around, but Rhunar, Theo, you're not super comfortable with your hiding location.
Do we have an opportunity to change it?
This is D&D, baby. You can do whatever you want.
Should we just lay down flat?
I'm gonna send up the bird and try to get some better scouting. Maybe get a little. I don't want to get too close, but maybe get a little closer. Maybe land in a tree, like
Mm-hmm.
near-ish by, like not on the edge of the village or whatever you want to call it, but maybe like a couple of trees back from the edge.
Yeah, the
So it's
camp.
not like, oh, hey, there's a big bird. Let's fucking shoot it or whatever. I don't want
right.
that.
All right,
No.
you send up your black-collared hawk,
Yeah.
and it flies in and lands in a tree. Is the hawk trying to do that stealthily, perhaps, or just sort of flies in and perches?
Yeah, I like it maybe trying to be a little more careful about it. That sounds like a smart play.
Okay.
Let's see. It does not have skill at stealth, but I can make it a stealth roll. It does have a +3. So, yeah, how about a 21 stealth for the hawk?
The hawk soars above first, and you get through its eyes. You're close, so you're within 100 feet
Mm.
of where it lands. You see a raised area in the jungle that has been cleared of vegetation. The hawk lands and perches, and you see movement. You see a number of gnolls that are eating, shitting, conversing,
Wow.
They are going about their business, and you can see that this place looks like well lived in. It's not a hilltop, but it is a very natural sort of encampment location. It's high up. It has good sight lines, so it's sort of raised up in the canopy a little bit. And there are 3 trails that lead into it. There's a trail that leads into it from the west, from the north, and from the south. So there are 3 entry points. There are a number of tents, 3 to be exact, as the hawk is sort of transmitting this back to you. There are also what appear to be small tent-sized huts that have been constructed. None of it looks to be in great condition. And there are a number of fire pits. There are 3 fire pits in this location. Some of them are smoldering. A bit of smoke is rising, but none of them are lit with open flame.
Do I get a sense of numbers?
Did you roll a perception check for the hawk yet?
I
Let's
have
do
not
that.
yet. I will. So either a 13 or come on. So a 13.
You can see through the hawk's eyes that there are 4 gnolls visible. Make that 5. Another one steps out from behind one of the tents.
I don't see this human at all.
No.
Okay. I will I guess probably individually reach out to the minds of my fellows with my telepathy and alert them of what I have seen.
Dave, I'm sorry, which direction did you say the trails led into the village from, or the camp from?
From the west, which is where you are approximately. You're sort of off the western trail that leads into this area. There's also a trail from the north and from the south.
Theo is, after having his brain touched by the power of Tenoch Knucklebones, is going to kind of whisper over towards him. Did you see any prisoners?
No.
If we can be certain they are not in the camp, I can always use the deck sweeper.
Let me take another look, and I'll get closer.
What's the range on that again?
About 100 paces, give or take.
You'll kill everyone there.
Keep that in mind,
Yeah.
Byron.
I'll flee the moment I sense no allies.
All right, so you guys have you're establishing a bit of a plan for Byron to sneak into the camp. Is that what I'm hearing?
Sure.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Byron is
All right.
sneaking to get a more human set of eyes on.
Yep.
Okay.
If I don't see any prisoners, I'll flee so that Theo can kill everyone at once.
All right. Well, let's do this. Let's go ahead and pause there for the night. You guys can
Oh,
can
shit.
think about that plan, and sort of, if you want to make some changes, obviously we can do that for next week. But yeah, we'll find out what happens at the Gnoll Bandit Camp next week on Beyond Saltmarsh.
Woo!
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice job, fellas.
Die.
Yeah, good game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nicely done. I did not think you're going to go after the side quest, but hey, that's cool.
Really, we're like the
I didn't
side
think
quest
so
kings.
either, but
Yeah, I know.
You didn't know you were running a JRPG?
Hey, I'm playing Skyrim right now, and let me tell you, happens a lot more in Western RPGs.
Now.
Yeah. You got there's a lot of quests to complete. You want to
Yeah.
tick them off the list. I like it. But I love the idea that it's like, no, we can't let these people, we can't just leave them. That's
Right.
Yeah.
exactly what the Deg Gang would do. Is like, we need to do something about this.
To
So
the
that's pretty cool.
predations of these beasts, creatures.
and there's
Filthy
only like 5
beasts.
of them left.
Yeah.
Or 5 or 6 of them.
Also, we're trying to get in good with the arch druid tree being, and this seems like generally a good thing to do to kind of make them feel better about us.
I agree.
Yeah. I like it. I think you're on the right track. We do have a giveaway, but honestly,
do.
nobody has even entered yet. So we could, quite frankly, get one person to enter, and they have a 100% chance of winning.
Yeah. You can win
What do they need to enter in the chat?
Temple of Valor.
CZRPG. There we go. Top-down tabletop's in there. North Shore DM's in there.
Oh, we can
I refuse to enter. I will only tell other people to enter.
We'll give folks a couple minutes, but hey, if you want to fight top-down tabletop for the spoils, man, that's up to
Day
you.
2000. Day.
That is up to you. Do eat. Hey, those of you who are watching, we appreciate it. It's been fun having you here. Hopefully you're enjoying the game. We love engaging with you in the chat, so please feel free to drop us questions. I know Kirk is watching it pretty closely throughout the game. And we're going to draw for this prize here in just a couple of seconds, but hey, make sure you check back in with us tomorrow because we are going to Svealand. And we'll kick off another game of Midwinter Keening with Chad at the helm of that game. Things have happened in that game that have been pretty interesting. We just defeated a bunch of Draugr and bandits, and Draugr bandits and bog Draugr and all kinds of crazy stuff. And now we're going to figure some things out, I think, hopefully. Although my character is not the figuring out kind of guy.
So tomorrow, I know you guys are playing Svealand, and I'm a huge fan, huge viewer, first time writer,
first time caller.
So I missed all of last session. So I know you guys were in that tower. I know you were planning on fighting your way into the tower, something with rope. I know that was a big joke or something. I don't know.
Yep.
Soap on a rope.
I'm not
Steak
sure.
on a rope. Kirk, funny that you asked, but if you want to get caught up, you can go to our YouTube channel and you can check it out. And we've got all of our episodes archived there, so it's pretty easy to get caught up. I think Chad, tomorrow's episode 8. Is that right?
Yeah.
I think so. So it's pretty easy to get caught up.
Are you still doing giveaways for that too?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're
we
giving
will.
away PDF of the core rulebook.
Yep.
Oh my
for
goodness!
Svealand.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Which
These
is
are
cool.
great questions, Kirk. Gosh,
Super cool.
what a guy. There's nothing like a softball question at the end of a long game of D&D. But you know what? Here's what we're going to do.
Let's
Even
do
if
this
there's
giveaway.
just 2 people in the giveaway and one of them is Chad, we're still going to do it.
Yes.
Does that mean I can
So,
enter?
Do we
It's
need
too late,
some
Andy. You can't
suspense?
enter.
We need
Five.
a...
It's okay.
Yeah. All right. Go
4,
ahead, Chad. Do it.
3, 2, 1, draw.
Top-down tabletop.
Oh,
You are
my
the
God.
winner.
Woo!
There were actually
Congratulations.
3 people in there, so you had a 33.33% chance, and
Nice.
it looks like we drew
Sorry,
your
we're
card.
not going to fight you. We're not.
Well done, sir. Well done.
So heads up,
Well, we're
I
gonna
will
get you.
send you a link to the download. We want to just say a big thank you to CZRPG for sponsoring our stream. we do what we do because we love it, and it's fun that other people are into it too. So thank you very much. And guys, we will see you all tomorrow, hopefully,
Hell
on
yeah.
Steeland. And we'll be back here next week for more Beyond Saltmarsh. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Take
fight
it easy.
gnolls.
We'll see you later. Oh yeah,
Take
Knoll
chances.
fight.